The college football experience week 12 preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. You get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, folks. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and college basketball, as well as the NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey everybody, Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this, let it ride.
Football experience week 12 preview and picks episode. It is coming a day early because the Maction race is heating up and it must be talked about. It is chaos in the MAC. YouTube.com/the college experience. Jump on over there, hit that like and subscribe button, as well as Spotify. Give it those 5 stars. Get over there, give those 5 stars. Let's rig this election. All right. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I want this pilot. It's a matter of national security. And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Sounded like Utah's athletic director after that BYU game.
And again, you got a better look at it than I did, Colby. I didn't even catch the replay, but apparently he was right?
I mean, here's the thing. Did the guy make a tiny bit of contact? Sure. But should you call it on 4th and 10 at the 1-yard line with the game on the line? I'd let them play, but I mean, that's just me. And it seems like most people I talk to agree with me, unless they're a BYU fan. Curious, this guy's, well, first, let me introduce the great, give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh! Up.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going. The playoff race, absolutely bananas right now.
I dialed it back. We're at, what is that? Hold on. 5.2.
Well, trust me, I don't know if the listeners are thanking you last week's episode was hilarious because he got completely blitzkrieged, and then I had people saying, what is with this episode? I can't take it. But then I also had people saying more of those episodes. More. You just had people all over the place.
You can't please everybody. For my own health, no more of those episodes, please.
We're also joined by third man in the booth, the DFS guy himself. Make sure you check out our college football DFS episodes. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lot giving, farmer, Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go. What's up, guys?
What is up is, I mean, just awesome college football action, awesome action. If you look right now, there's 4 teams tied for first place, 2 teams 1 game back, and they all play this Tuesday and Wednesday. So appreciate it. You know, I mean, imagine, I still say we need an auto bid, especially because the MAC beats Notre Dame all the time. So MAC schools or former MAC schools, aka Marshall, but Toledo had them on the hook a couple years ago, up the whole game and ended up losing, and then Northern Illinois taking down Notre Dame. They don't want that MAC smoke.
They're also known to knock off an ACC team just about every year. Although I don't think it happened this year, did it? I don't think so. They had like at least 3 years running. It broke this year.
They'll get the better of someone usually.
Yeah.
And let's also say that while we love MAC shit, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, there's also a little Duke Kentucky game basketball on the hardwood Tuesday night also.
And Kansas, Michigan State college basketball is tipped off. Subscribe to the college basketball experience right now. I got McNeese and Alabama on. And
UNC Kansas was a heater the other night.
Oh my God!
That was a great game.
What a horrible beat! I mean, Kansas, you cowards. But
horrible beat for who?
Dude, Kansas was up 17 at halftime.
Still, they're lucky that they won on the money line. I mean,
I know that, but I'm just saying, you're up 17 at half. You're thinking that's good at home.
The funny thing is it's like the exact opposite of the national championship game a couple years ago, where UNC was up big at halftime and Kansas came storming back and won the game.
Fair. Fritzy in the chat said, even if it was a bad call in that BYU game, they still had to drive 60 yards plus a dropped interception by the Utes. I agree with that. And to me, I actually think the Utah athletic director is being a little bitch personally. Like it was a horrible call in my opinion. But at the same time, I mean, how many games
it's
can we?
It's the Big 12 that's being a bitch. You should be able to bitch at the referees. You should be able to give them help.
No, but like to me, it's different when the athletic director takes the podium. Like it's normally your coach, and Whittingham did do that. He threw a chair apparently.
Freedom of speech, man. Who cares? At the end of the day, they can say whatever they want to say. It doesn't change the call.
But you don't normally hear an athletic director like say, "Well, I'm going to make this about me." You know, like let the coach do that to me. You know what I mean? Like, but
AD used to be in one half dozen the other. AD, head coach, same difference. You're at the end of the day, you're like an administrator. You know what I'm saying? You're not playing the game.
All I know is this is great for the Holy War. And by the way, the Holy War delivered to me one of the best games, if not the best game of the college football season thus far.
Damn shame it started at 10:30 Eastern time.
Dude, that ended at 2:15 a.m. over here on the East Coast. I had to do it. Patty C, we were waiting to do the reaction show. I mean, that's unbelievable. Why does this East Coast time zone exist?
And why does East Coast bias exist? Oh, let me think. Maybe because half of the East Coast didn't watch it.
Well, they should then, if you're going to do this, you should have the same amount of voters in every time zone. Can that be fair? Can we just do that? Is that hard to do?
Well, AP top 25 people.
Yeah.
In each time zone.
Yeah. So.
Still, there's something to that. We got to have like an electoral college and a popular vote working here.
I think like the AP is the popular vote because it's meaningless.
well, I don't get break the head cold.
We did get some news today. And I saw several people extremely pissed off about this. Kennesaw State has fired Brian Bohannon, who had been with them patiently through the process. Took him to the FCS playoffs, and just beat Liberty, huge win a couple weeks ago.
How many years was he there?
Yeah, a long time. He was there. Kind of the guy that kickstarted their program, and I saw several players / former coaches shitting on Kennesaw for not providing the funds to properly win when making the jump, but B, for firing the coach that had really just been super successful for them over the years. Either way, he's out, and they're going to be. We got another open job essentially. So Kennesaw State, NC Nick. Did they make the right decision firing Brian Bohannon? And
no, of course not. I mean, you don't have to. All you have to look at who Kennesaw's opponent is this week. It's Sam Houston. Sam Houston's first year in the FBS last year, they went 3-9. it's going to be a little bit of a rough transition. You got to give the coach at least a year. I mean, what does he expect for them to come in there and win double-digit games?
Yeah.
But Sam Houston struggled last year. They played a lot of close games. This year, they're 7-2 right now. So it is ludicrous that, especially to fire him like mid-season. Are they struggling right now?
They just had a huge win. They were 28-point dogs, and they won 2 weeks ago.
I feel like they're playing better football. So there must have been something else to the stories, like the personalities didn't mesh or something else. Because I'm very surprising to hear that.
Yeah,
they are playing a little bit better. A 17-point loss against Western Kentucky on the road, a little bit respectable based on how good Western Kentucky is. Probably the class of the Conference USA at this point, would you say?
Them and Jacksonville State, yeah,
all in the same. But I would say right now, in my opinion,
Sam Houston,
Western Kentucky, yeah, Sam Houston's getting there. But yeah, I mean, and then overtime against a bad UTEP team, but that was on the road. I mean, that's almost 2 wins in 3 games.
That's what I'm saying. What are we doing?
A little time, yeah.
Kirk Ferentz in the chat saying hire Jack Daniels Del Rio at Kennesaw State. We had a little dust up in Madison. Some jackass on Twitter actually comments underneath making it political, saying Trump won, and I'm quoting what Jack Daniels said. It was just a dust up, not Jack Daniels. What Jack Del Rio said. He is currently on the staff at Wisconsin. NC Nick, your opinion on?
No, he's not anymore.
He's not currently on the staff at Wisconsin.
They fired him.
He was a couple days ago.
Resigned. Wait a second. I've been to Wisconsin. They are first off, they give you alcohol every
course.
They just is this a caving to ESPN? Because I feel like in Wisconsin, a DUI is one of the things you brag about.
Well, at his age and to run over a stop sign or whatever, I mean, come on, that's not a good look.
It's got
all an Uber, man.
Bob Huggins vibe here.
A little bit. Did Del Rio know what state he was in?
He didn't drop any F-bombs, but he at least cut the DUI.
One of the best parts of Bob Huggins being just completely shit hammered was him and his brother were in the car and they were eating at Burger King earlier. He's like he has like an $80 million contract. And he's eating at Burger. What are you doing here?
Have you seen his gut? I'm not surprised.
The man lives the college lifestyle. Give him a break.
Oh man,
he's part of the student body.
We also got some news. One of the reasons I liked fading Nebraska this year was that Marcus Satterfield was their offensive coordinator, and I was never a big fan of Marcus Satterfield. Well, I don't think they officially fired him, but he's no longer calling the plays because they brought in Dana Holgorsen, the used car salesman. There we go. Roy Munson. Some say Roy Munson 2.0. NC Nick, is this Nebraska offense about to fire off a lot of points?
We'll see. I mean, it's got to be an improvement with the play calling, but Dylan Raiola is questionable. I'm pretty sure. I don't think right now it's probably too early to tell if he's going to play this week. They hit the road. They haven't exactly been lights out offensively on the road. So I don't know how much of an immediate impact it's going to make, but the play calling's going to improve.
Yeah, Patty C, your thoughts on Coach Holgorsen coming into Lincoln, Nebraska?
Well, I mean, I feel like Rule, he's typically got a hard-nosed team that doesn't light up the scoreboard necessarily. So I think bringing in a guy like Holgorsen that's been known to light up the scoreboard, it's kind of similar to what I guess Arkansas has done with bringing Bobby Petrino in. I think Arkansas has a pretty elite offense this year, which I don't think they had before, even though they'd had some high-octane guys. But he's a proven commodity, Petrino, and to an extent, Holgorsen is too. 92 and 69 as a head coach. I think you combine that with some good defensive chops. Maybe they start turning that ship around offensively.
Yeah.
There were some other coordinators that got the axe too for old in Tallahassee.
Saudi Arabia State. They fired. They cleaned house in Saudi Arabia over the weekend.
When you're 1-9, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
It's so great. I mean, that's got to be the highlight of the season because they demanded the bigger revenue to the teams that were winning. It's just perfect.
Is there any chance if they lose to Charleston Southern that they can Norvell with them? I think that's the only way.
They got to go back to Saudi Arabia and get money because they just gave him like an $80 million contract. But Charleston Southern is 1-8 in the FCS, just like them. So that would be pretty hilarious. Let's go Buccaneers. NC Nick, I know you didn't get a chance to react to a lot of the other games. I know we got action to dive into, but any other like things stood out to you that BYU stays undefeated.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think we have to talk about the undefeated teams with basically 2 weeks of football left, or 2 or 3, I guess. So I think there's some bye weeks in there also, but the 4 undefeated teams that remain, only one of them was kind of on the radar as a possibility to be in this position in the preseason over the summer. That's Oregon. But the fact that BYU, Indiana, and Army remained, you got to give Patty C credit. He was the guy that was all about Army in the offseason.
Hello.
It's fantastic that it's 3 teams that usually aren't in this position. So, but that and like all the conference races coming down to the wire. I mean, it's good. It's just going to be a fun few weeks of football until we determine who's going to be in the conference championship games and ultimately who's going to be in the playoff.
Amen.
And it's also great that wait, hold on. So what was my point I was going to make? I lost it. Anyway, I had a point I was going to make there, but I started thinking about Dick Gertzberger's thing of Scott Frost going to Kennesaw State.
Damn it, Dick.
Here's what it was. So Army's got a bye week. They're going to take on Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium. This is so cool because they've played at Yankee Stadium or, Fenway or whatever some of these times, but this like a top 25 matchup with a chance to go to the playoffs on the line at Yankee Stadium is a true flashback to college football. If you look up the history of college football, they played gigantic games at Yankee Stadium that decided the national champion essentially late in November for so many years. So it's turned into I hope in a way college game day goes, even though it's not, I prefer college campuses, but I'm also like, that would be kind of cool. Cause that's kind of where they played so many historic games, specifically Army too, and Navy. So, and Notre Dame, I think, but that all compelling.
Well, you know what the deal is with this game, right? It's the 100-year anniversary of the, was it 4 Horsemen game for Notre Dame, where those guys kind of emerged. And I think after the game was when that article was written, that kind of maybe one of the most famous articles ever written about in college football or sports in general. So, but that was just down the street. I don't think that was at Yankee Stadium. I think it was at
Ebbets Field
Park. Yeah. Oh, was it Ebbets Field?
Ebbets Field, I believe. Yeah.
The only 4 horsemen I know are Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and Lex Luger.
I thought you were gonna say, is that a shot where you load up like Jim Jack? Isn't that a shot? Where it's like Jim Jack, Cuervo, and
oh God,
yeah. Anyway,
no, that is the apocalypse.
No, that's 3 Hicks and a Spick. Johnny, Jack, Jim, and Jose.
You can't say that anymore. Man. I think they've changed it to 3 wise men. But look, you didn't come up with the name. You're just reciting it.
What's the 4th?
Yeah, that's really fucked up. That's even worse. Okay.
Wow. Glad to see we're just firing away early on this episode. Look, it was a real thing. It probably still is a real thing in places. Folks, want to tell you that, well, first, thanks for listening to the College Football Experience. And if you can, hop on over there, give us a 5-star rating on Spotify. Only you can help prevent corporate gambling from taking over, folks. All right. 3802 is having a good old time in the chat. Folks, we got some action. I didn't do slides this week. Didn't get them all done in time. Busy ass day. All right. Ball State is heading to Buffalo, and why so let me just quickly rattle off what I was talking about. You have Miami, Ohio at 4-1 in the conference. Ohio at 4-1 in the conference. Bowling Green at 4-1 in the conference. Western Michigan 4-1 in the conference. Right behind them, Buffalo, the Bulls, Pete Lambeau at 3-2 in the conference. Toledo at 3-2 in the conference. After that, you have 3 lost teams, and I don't need to mention those, even though it's still Northern Illinois, by the way, currently in 9th place. Glad to see the committee really honors the that loss that Notre Dame has to Northern Illinois? 9th place in the MAC.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, who is Notre Dame in front of that has one loss? There shouldn't be a single team.
Washington State, who lost at
SMU,
Boise,
right?
who's in the playoffs. Yeah.
SMU only has one, and it's to an undefeated BYU, and yet they're behind Notre Dame, who lost to
the 9th place team in the MAC. What's that, Nick?
Coupled with what's Notre Dame's best win? I guess it was A&M in the opener. That's a pretty good win. Okay.
Still, I think Washington State has Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Washington. You know what I mean? Like, those teams will be bowling. Anyway, to help build on that, the race is always wacky in the MAC, and Ball State is taking on Buffalo. We just talked about this wacky race. Technically, Ball State's still alive at 2-3. Pete Lembo and the Bulls in a great spot to essentially, get to essentially potentially like tied to first place this week. Buffalo's laying 4.5. And I am starting off with the Dundee special. Nobody, and I mean nobody, goes into Lambeau Field and gets a dub. The Bulls laying 4.5 against Patty C's boys. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I kind of disagree. I think last week we saw the all 4 road MAC teams win straight up. Granted, all 4 of the teams on the road were favorites, and I think only 2 of them covered. But as soon as October hit, Ball State's been playing better football, and that's resulted in 4 straight ATS covers when they've been a dog over the last 5 weeks or so. I think this is a close game. I was impressed with Ball State against Miami last week when I was laying points with Miami and lost. I think Ball State covers.
Patty C, are you backing your boys?
I am backing my boys. Caden Samanza all over, or Samanza, sorry, of Ball State all over the leaderboards at the top of the MAC. Second place in passing yardage, but also second place in the interception. So they do throw the ball a lot. However, somehow Braden Sloan also tied for second in the conference in rushing attempts. So apparently Ball State's got either a limited, 2-man approach, or they just get a lot of offensive plays off. Either way, Buffalo, I don't think I got to trust my guys in this one. I think I'm going to roll Ball State. No, both of them are Buffalo. You said was 3-2 in conference.
Yeah. They're fighting for a top spot in the MAC. This is on
Ball
CBS
State,
Sports Network, by the way. And Buffalo, we should mention.
Yeah.
This is why I think NC Nick is sleeping on. They've been pretty fire at home. The only loss they have was to Western Michigan by 7. Buffalo's had some big wins at home, Lambeau Field. Just saying, battle. Are you locking that, Nick?
No, I don't know. I don't
okay.
Think so.
Patty, you locking it?
No. But give me the Cardinals. Indiana football is looking pretty good on the whole right now. Would you say? Complete opposite of Florida. Yeah, maybe not Purdue. Hey, by the way, I'm not looking at the TV. Are the Dolphins down? I want to make it.
They're up 10-0, I think.
No,
I watch college basketball. 12. I don't watch the No Fun League. Western Michigan is in Bowling Green, Ohio, taking on the Falcons. Bowling Green's laying 8. Fuck out of here. Give me the 8 in Western Michigan. Lock it up. I mean, what am I missing here? They just think they're going to trounce Lance Taylor and this Bronco team, Nick?
Well, these are 2 of my darlings in the offseason in MAC play, and also 2 of those 4-1 teams in league play right now. So this game is absolutely huge. I agree. It's too many points. I'm going Broncos. I think we got a very close game here, and I'll lock it up with you. Is what I meant to say. Let's go.
Double lock. Could we get a triple lock from Patty C here?
Potentially. I do think. Not Ball State. Western Michigan is playing good enough football right now. Both, though, winners of 4 of the last 5. I was with you, Nick. I think we took Bowling Green as our smart play in terms of value in the preseason for Bowling Green to win the conference. and they're playing good football right now, but it's just too many points. Western Michigan has good quarterback play right now, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to trust that down the stretch. And let's go. God, I'm fucking drawing a blank. Western Michigan with the cover.
Buddy.
Getting drunk early, apparently.
Patty C.
There's too many MAC games right now. Too many MAC games. I'm sorting through.
Never. Don't say that. There's never too many MAC games.
And I can't wait for UMass to join this mix next year. Patty C. Answering that question on Western Michigan Bowling Green.
Well, I don't get brain man.
Moving along. Central Michigan's heading to the Glass Bowl. Take on the Toledo Rockets. Toledo's laying 14.5 points. The over under at 51.5. Give me the chips and the points, but this is the only one I'm not locking. I still might end up betting this. I don't know, but I feel like they're going to cover because I think Toledo's not as good, but I feel like Toledo wins by 7, 8, 9, 10 points. NC Nick, what are you doing here at the Glass Bowl?
Well, I do agree that this is my least favorite of the Tuesday games, but I am going to go with Central Michigan also. I mean, they have been struggling offensively ever since Bert Emanuel Jr. went out at quarterback. So, they're not going to be able to cover in a shootout. But Toledo's not the same Toledo as the last few years. They're still solid, yes. I think they win this game. I don't think a money line's in play, but I think they win by 10 or 12 or so. So, I'm going to be on all three road teams in Maction Tuesday night, hoping that it's kind of similar to the road teams last week.
Yeah. All right, saying we only have 3 more regular season weeks left. Crying. Patty C, what are you doing here? I'm probably going to bet this too. I'll be honest, but Patty C, what are you doing here with the chips and I would have Toledo Rockets?
There just haven't been enough instances of Toledo beating teams by 15 points. Even similarly, like competitive teams, NIU, they only beat by 7. Eastern Michigan, probably similar. They only beat by 1. Toledo is not the team they have been for the last few years. And you got to be crazy to think they're going to beat Central Michigan by 14.5, two touchdowns plus. No way. Give me the chips.
Yeah, let's go. Now, so those are all going on Tuesday. Those games are all fire. And then on Wednesday, they wheel out the shit slate. With the exception of this game, I do find Eastern Michigan at Ohio very intriguing because this is my team against NC Nick's team. Ohio's laying 10.5 in Athens, their legendary Peden Stadium. This 10.5, you're getting Chris Creighton 10.5 points. Get the hell out of here. All right. Lock Eastern Michigan plus 10.5. Who do they think they are? This game's on ESPN2, by the way. Ohio won by 8 last year. The last time they played when they had Curtis Rourke, and these are the breaks. This 10.5, get out of here. Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, Ohio is undefeated at home this year. And I mean, in a year where they weren't supposed to be that good, that they lost all kinds of people to graduation and the transfer portal, the fact that they're 6-3 and 4-1 in MAC play, fantastic job by the coaching staff and the young team and the quarterback Parker Navarro. So I bet this yesterday at 8.5. So we've seen big time line movement. I'm still going to take Ohio, but I don't feel great. I'm not going to bet it. If I was to ask right now, am I going to bet this over 10? I would say no, but Ohio is still my play.
See about that. I can't believe you're sticking to your boys. You're going to lose. Patty C, what are you doing here?
One result recently concerns me for Eastern Michigan, and that is the loss against Akron, obviously. Other than that, I have been very impressed by them. Beating Jacksonville State, looking better. Even Washington, we all thought Washington was going to be pretty bad. Them keeping it or covering against Washington. So Eastern Michigan has played pretty well all year. I do think it's too many points. So I got to go Eastern Michigan. Give me the Eagles.
All right. Next, we go to DeKalb. It's going to be hilarious when the Akron Zips beat a team Notre Dame couldn't. Akron's catching 15.5 on the road in DeKalb. Lock. This line's ridiculous. Akron's solid this year. 2-7 solid. Right?
With one of the wins being against Colgate.
Well, look, only an 11-point loss to Buffalo, who's in position to potentially win. They beat Eastern Michigan. Only a 10-point loss to Western Michigan, who's in position to win the MAC. Only a 7-point loss to Bowling Green, who's in position to win the MAC, and that was a brutal loss. They probably should have won that game. No, this team's legit. NC Nick, what are you doing here in DeKalb?
I completely agree. Yeah. Akron is playing much better of late. They're also coming off a bye. The offense is cranking. Ben Finley, he's fresh off a 378-yard, 4-touchdown game. Also, NIU's banged up, especially at running back. I think it's way too many points. I want to lock up the zips with you. Zip it up.
Let's go.
Zip it out.
Patty C, do we have a triple lock?
I don't know how you can be that confident. I mean, they Northern Illinois just did beat Western Michigan on the road by 14. I mean, yes, have they lost to, I guess, decent teams in Ball State and Toledo prior to that? Sure, but they beat Bowling Green. So I think that this line is about right. Up and down week after week for Northern Illinois, but to the same extent, a little bit Akron. I will say that you're right. Ben Finley, 4th in the conference in passing yards right now, playing well at quarterback, but I guess I'll join you guys. Give me Akron to cover, but it's nowhere near a lot for me.
Well, the final game of the MACtion, all of these kicking off at the same time. Stupid, by the way. Stupid. Why not spread these? Why not spread these out?
Break it up to like a 7 and a 9 o'clock or something, a little bit different.
Hey, let's kick all the games off at once. I thought the point of MACtion was to get eyes on your product.
Maybe they realize that a lot of sports fans have YouTube TV. You can do the quad box. You can, fit these 3 games and
put them all in prime time. Hey, yeah.
Well, Kent State, 0-9, and the only winless team. They didn't fire their coach, but Kennesaw getting the axe. But Kent State just been horrible. And Nick Saban, we're waiting for that donation. Jack Lambert, I know the NFL didn't pay you good in the 70s, so we're waiting for your endorsement of who you want as next head coach. But Kenny Burns has struggled there. They're catching 30. I can't recall a time in MACtion play where I saw a MAC on MAC opponent catching 30 points. They're catching 30. The over under at 45.5.
It's a lot.
Give me the 30. I refuse to lay 30 points in a MACtion game. Like, I mean, that's insane. Like, to me, anything above 24 or 21, I feel like you could be like, no way. Nick, what are you doing here at Jaeger-Bomb Stadium there?
Yeah, come on, man. It's the wacky MAC, and you can't lay that many points. I mean, Kent State is god awful, but I don't think Miami really gets up for this. I don't think they, go four quarters and keep the foot on the gas. I think you got to take the dog here. But this one is my least of the Wednesday night games. Least favorite.
Yeah, agreed. Patty C, is Kent State getting their first win of the season?
I'm going to lay it because the only games that in the bottom 5 of the standings, which is Eastern Michigan, Northern Illinois, Central Michigan, Akron, and Kent State, Miami has played 2 of them. Obviously, Central Michigan being one of those teams, they did beat by 39. And the other one was, who was it? I just had it a second ago. Eastern Michigan, they beat by 24. So Eastern Michigan and Kent is worse than both of those. Kent is basically the worst team in the country. So if they're consistently beating those bottom level teams by 25 to 30 points, then yeah, I think they're going to beat Kent by a little more, especially at home. So I'll take Miami to cover this.
Fine tuck job.
Yeah. Miami, Ohio last season won the MAC, if you might recall. They only beat Kent State 23-3. So
I could see a very similar score this year.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Who has the best tuck jobs in society? You got Bruce Jenner, but I feel like he's not really selling it, right? You got,
I would say Patty C has the best tuck jobs in society.
Well, I mean, legitimate tuck jobs, like you tucked it up. I mean, maybe I could go that route in the future. I'm feeling pretty sometimes.
I've already made one borderline comment on this show. I'm going to sit this one out.
You know who did a pretty good job? It's not really a tuck job when you go from female to male, but Ellen Page going to Elliot Page. starting to look like a little sissy boy, to an extent. So that's a solid tuck job, I think she did.
I was just going to assume Dwight Howard.
Oh, yeah. He's tucking. He's tucking every now and then. Let's be honest.
Anyway, folks, look, what to tell you that those are the action games for Tuesday and Wednesday. But I want to tell you also that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all of sports. They got NFL, college football, college basketball. Obviously, you got the Grey Cup happening this weekend as well in the Grey Cup or in the CFL 111th Grey Cup. They got stuff for that. They got NHL now that it's back, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Hop on over there. Look, if you sign up, you can claim your special pick list first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash with the promo code TCE SGPN. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries as well. I'm just going to take a quick gander. In that Toledo Rocket game, NC Nick, Tucker Gleason, higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns is available. Higher, lower there. Also a higher on 241.5 passing yards.
I like the touchdown angle better.
Yeah.
I think he throws for 2.
I like that. I like that one too. Another one that caught my eye when I was looking at this was where is this? Connor Bazelak, right? He's a higher, lower 1.5 passing touchdowns as well. Hayden Wolf is got the same thing. You could load these up. You got to take more than one player from.
Any yardage thing on Hauser for ECU Thursday night? Can we delve into Thursday night?
Yes, Hauser. Wait, I thought I saw. Maybe that was a week ago. I don't see it right now. Last week I was on that though, as he's balling out with the Pirates. We will get there in a second. But Cole Snyder's Pretzels, quarterback for Eastern Michigan, got a higher, lower 202 passing yards. Curious what you think there.
I'm going higher on all these. Cole Snyder leads the MAC in passing yards, and Tucker Gleason and what was it? Hayden Wolf, number 1 and 2 respectively in passing touchdowns. You got to go higher.
Patty Chalk. We call him Patty Chalk for a reason. I'm gonna go.
Well, if they're averaging higher,
Snyder, I'm on Ball State.
Fun times. That's some of the stuff. You can find edges that you really don't see elsewhere over at Underdog Fantasy. So hop on over there, use that promo code TCE SGPN to get all that action. All right.
What's this lean picture that Trick or Treat 1 2 3 is talking about?
Oh, you haven't heard about this, huh?
I think I missed it.
I didn't see it.
Check out the college basketball episode this morning, provided by the Sports Gambling Podcast. There is a photo of all three of us. As it was the L Word show poster has been transformed into all three of us.
I thought we've cleaned it up. I've made a cognizant effort to clean it up. I take offense to that.
It was a fun tuck job they did. Anyway, folks, we're back. And Thursday night is the easiest money you will ever have in your life. The East Carolina Pirates. I mean, Mike, do we need any more proof that Mike Houston was fucking horrible? They've had over 1,000 yards of offense in the 2 games since the firing of Mike Houston.
To be fair, the level of competition dropped significantly. I mean, Mike Houston put up 28 points against Army, who just completely shut down the number 5 offense in the nation and held them to 3 points in North Texas. So,
fair, but Liberty and App State aren't necessarily good teams this year.
Liberty and App State.
I just went and saw App State look like I was at the Coastal App State game. It was an awesome environment.
You guys literally just said Liberty is among the 3 teams that are the class of the Conference USA.
Well, that's the worst conference in college football.
I get it. It doesn't make them like bad team. But Liberty is not.
They lost
to
Kennesaw State.
Okay, who did Liberty beat? I don't know if they beat anyone, but what are they 7-1 or 7-8?
They beat App.
Yeah,
No.
That game got canceled.
Yeah, they beat ECU.
They beat ECU.
Well, that's his point. But I think losing to Liberty on the road is not that ugly of a thing. Losing to App at home this year, not that bad. What is that? 4-4 right now?
App's not good.
Nope.
They're not a good football team.
They should have beaten App. Getting housed by Charlotte is the ugly one.
I'll say this. Yeah. I mean, Temple to me would be catching 4 points against App, 6 points.
Mike Houston beat ODU on the road within a week of ODU probably should have beating
South Carolina. The tuck jobs are coming left and right.
Well, this is how you fucking judge a coach. You're going to judge him on the Temple and Florida Atlantic game saying, oh, this offense is elite, the new coach, when obviously Mike Houston would have done the same fucking thing.
Mike Houston, they've never had 1,000 yards in back-to-back weeks. Either Scotty Montgomery or Mike Houston. So I don't give a shit who you're playing. ECU's laying 14 points in H.A. Chapman Stadium. Yes, you fly into Oklahoma City, you take a bus for 2 hours. It is the strange away game. That's your only handicap for taking Tulsa, but we know who the best team of the land is. Lay the 14, lock it up. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I still can't find that picture of the lean or whatever, but I'll have to take his word for it. We probably do look pretty attractive or pretty handsome on there, Patty C, knowing us.
Yeah, of course.
No, I agree, Colby. And just if you want to throw a stat that kind of backs up the side that we're on, Tulsa now has the worst pass defense in the entire country. Last week it was Texas Tech, but they've surpassed them. They're even worse than the Red Raiders now. And Caton Hauser has been slinging the rock lately, which is why I was asking if we have anything for him yet. Unfortunately, I'm in Maryland where you can't do player props. So yeah, I agree. ECU, man, let's go.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
You're not scared away by Jake Garcia's national leading.
He's not starting anymore. Caton Hauser is.
Okay, Hauser, yeah. That's true. Look, I think 14 is definitely coverable but Tulsa, who'd they beat 2 weeks ago? Didn't they have an impressive outing?
No, didn't they get waxed by UAB?
Well, yeah, they did. But 2 weeks, maybe that was 2 weeks ago. They're coming off the bye here. 3 weeks ago, they beat UTSA, who's okay. But yeah, I'm with you. I think ECU, even on the road, gets it done.
There we go. Look, Friday, North Texas is heading into the Alamo Dome to take on UTSA. North Texas laying 1.5 points. I will take UTSA because I think North Texas is a phony good team. Give me the Roadrunners. I think they're improving. Nick?
I disagree. I think North Texas, look, are they a complete team? No, but they do have an offense. And the fact that people are off their scent because they've lost 3 in a row. I mean, they lost to Army, Tulane, and Memphis. So there's no harm in those 3 losses. Yes, UTSA got up and beat Memphis somehow, but like Patty was just saying, the game before that, they lost to Tulsa. So the team that I don't trust.
They did blow a 45-7 lead.
The team that I don't trust is UTSA. I'm going to go North Texas here.
You're going to lose. All right. Patty C, what are you doing here at that filthy Alamo Dome?
North Texas, mind you, somehow, I don't know if they went up or if I was wrong about their national ranking prior to the game. I thought it was number 5. Now they're number 3 in the nation in total yards per game. So maybe everyone else got stuffed last week, and that helped them move up because they certainly didn't score any points. What's it, 1.5 that they're favored by on the road?
Yeah.
Give me North Texas. Texas.
And Gina, I'm not positive, but I don't think you can do college player props on any book in Maryland. Pro, yes, but I don't think college. I don't live here, so maybe you know more than me, but I'd be surprised if just one book you can do college props. If you want, check on that and let us know.
Later on Friday night, at the same time on Friday night, the Wyoming Cowboys, horrible season upon them with just 2-7. One of my worst overs for win totals. They are heading into Fort Collins, where Colorado State is in it. They could make the Mountain West Championship here. if they can just take care of business here.
Colorado a very quiet 4-0 in league play and taking care of business. Their conference schedule was so easy. So the only teams they have left: Wyoming, Fresno, and Utah State.
Dude, and that's going to bump UNLV out. They won't even be able to play the extra game, the rematch of Boise. Hilarious. Colorado State's laying 10. Remember, NC Nick, we were in Laramie, we were in Fort Collins. The animosity between these two schools is very high. I still can't take Wyoming, so I will take Colorado State minus 10. Lock it up. Hey! Austin in the chat. Colby, you do this show, then the basketball one. You are a fucking dog cut from a rare cloth, king. Well, check this out, buddy. We did the Sports Gambling Podcast college basketball one this morning. We're doing this. After this, we have the Sports Gambling Podcast college football show. Then I do a spot on VEASAN. Then we do the college basketball experience. Myself, Moneyline Mac. Go into the wee hours of the night. Appreciate you tuning in and appreciate that. NC Nick, what are you doing here in this Mountain West Classic?
I disagree with you, and I agree with our guy, R. Wright, that Colorado State is phony, and this is a big-time rivalry game, and 10.5 points is too much. I'm on Wyoming, man. You know what? You want to do a little lock battle?
Yeah, you're goddamn right I do. All right.
Let's go.
Patty C went in on this action?
I'm with Nick. I'm not going to lock it, but look, Colorado State number 91 offense, Wyoming number 107, and then they both are in the low 100s in terms of total defense. So from a statistical standpoint, through 9 games in the season, pretty darn close. I think that 10 points is too many. And then you got the rivalry aspect. I'm looking it up right now. 1 hour and 4 minutes apart driving right now. Come on. It means a lot. These guys consider each other arch rivals, right?
Yes, they hate each other. Very, very like 45 minutes apart. I feel like. Does that sound accurate, Nick?
And an hour. I think.
Yeah,
an hour. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know if I can speak for Colby also, but I never realized it was that big of a rivalry. But yeah, they don't like each other.
The battle of the boot, right?
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
Let's go.
What is it? 10 points for Colorado State. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
10 points. Yeah, I got to go.
It's going to be 24-3 final. Let's go. Battle. Pick Dundee saying ram it. And MD Nick saying let's ride with the likes of the Wyoming Cowboys. Shout out to R. Wright in the chat, giving us $20. Speaking of dogs, Colby, is there any update on the dogs you found? The dogs are fucking great dogs. They're in my house, so still waiting. They might end up mine if no one claims them. I'm developing a rapport. All right, that's how. And you know what happens when that, I feel like you spend more time than like the dogs are really sweet dogs. So it's like the more times you spend, the more times I'm like, damn, am I going to keep these guys?
Wait, well, let me ask you this: how are the dogs getting along with Muddy?
Separate rooms. That's what I need to figure out. My dog Muddy Waters is known to be fucking batshit crazy.
He's a face biter.
Yeah, he's a one-man band.
And I'm gonna ease it on in, to quote Ric Flair. Before, but Muddy Waters, Bill Burr has a great bit on the on your dog jacked up for the Super Bowl. If you guys ever got, that's Muddy Waters. You get him in the game and he's ready to go. He's at a 10 at all times.
Dude, I remember.
Sounds like Colby's catching feelings though.
Colby
catching feelings.
Can't help but love a dog. Colby's just a dog.
Oh, yeah.
His kryptonite.
Yet he's still taking Colorado State minus 10.5. Well, I'm on the dog here.
There we go.
It's a quick story about Muddy Waters. Colby was out of town. He's asking me to walk Muddy. I was taking him down the Venice boardwalk, and some homeless guy has got his dog off the leash. He's like a band of like homeless vagrants, and they have their dog off the leash. And I'm like, I know Muddy is gonna bite the fucker on the face if I let him. So I'm like, I got him high and tight on the leash, and the other dog is like sniffing his asshole for like 30 yards, like up close and personal. And then the homeless guy screams at me, and he goes, "Why don't you let him loose, dude?" And I was like, but it was aggressive. It was aggressive. And I was like, dude, A, why are you yelling at me? And then B, I was like, he's going to bite this dog's face, right? And he's like, hey, he's got to learn somehow. Let him loose. 3 seconds. Boom. Just mouthful of face. And I
picked up Marty Waters from the shelter along the California-Arizona border. And shelter's a strong word. This was a sneeze might send this house or this room or whatever.
Facility.
It's like tin facility. It just looked like they made meth after hours. He's always been ready to go. He's just yeah.
Well, he's a German Shepherd too, and his ancestors.
Hitler had that. He's Diego Pavia of the dog world, though. He's always going to go for it. All right, so Diego
Pavia is a pit bull, man. Short, stocky, ferocious.
Did you guys catch that run where he just threw? He just jumped up. It's like a 12-yard run. It's like he threw his entire body up in the air for like this 12-yard run at midfield. It was fantastic, but you're wondering why.
Gotta lay it on the line. Yeah. While you're injured.
It's a breath of fresh air at the quarterback spot. UCLA heads to Seattle. We got a Pac-12 game Friday night. Pac-12 after dark. UCLA at Washington. Washington laying 3.5. Can I nominate Deshaun Foster for potential coach of the year?
Yeah, fantastic job.
I mean, unbelievable job by Deshaun Foster. I mean, pardon me, Washington got their ass whooped so bad. I almost feel like they're due for a bounce back. But I'm taking these Bruins. I don't know if I just like what they've done. They're fighting hard for them. Give me the Bruins plus 3.5. Nick, what are you doing here?
Well, they're a tough team. I mean, they've won 3 in a row. 2 of those games were on the road, and I think the win at Rutgers, and what was the other game? Was it at Nebraska?
Yeah.
So they're winning. They're wherever they go. I mean, they have a top 10 run defense, like I said. I mean, they're just a tough team, and I think they're going to go into Washington and potentially win outright. But this is a field goal game here, so I want to lock up the Bruins. I'm impressed.
Patty C, are you locking this with NC Nick?
Well, you do have 2 mutual tuck jobs in the last 5 weeks between these, and Washington lost to both Rutgers and Iowa. Granted, those were both on the road, but they lost to Iowa by 24 points. UCLA beat both of those teams. They beat them close. Rutgers was on the road, but Iowa was at home. But yeah, just watching UCLA play right now, they're moving in the right direction. 3 straight wins against not bad teams. Rutgers and Nebraska both on the road, and then hosting Iowa. The trip to Seattle is a little tough. Maybe the Friday night thing makes it more tough, but they won on Friday night last week. So yeah, I just think UCLA, and the spread on this is what?
3.5.
3.5. I guess, yeah, you give me that little hook, I'll take UCLA for sure.
I like our right's comment here. He says, Colby, we need a sweat for your respective Washington futures. We have Washington under 6.5 wins. They're 5-5. If they get to UCLA, we can sweat it out as they go to Eugene, where they've had the Ducks number over the past few years, even though it was a different regime.
They're not getting Oregon this year.
Either way, I'm feeling pretty good about Washington under 6.5 wins. Later Friday night, the Houston Cougars are taking on the Arizona Wildcats at Arizona Stadium. There, Arizona's laying 1.5. Fuck out of here. I will lock up Willie Fritz and the Houston Cougars. I got to feel that Arizona, I think Brennan will work out there, but he walked into a tough scenario. They brought back their quarterback. They brought back their wideout. That were studs, but they were studs as young kids. I feel like sophomore year, you scattered asses all want to know who you are. And they got killed on the line of scrimmage. A lot of transfers out. 2 of them start for Texas. They lose a corner to Washington, a couple other key guys, Jonah Coleman.
And let's be honest, maybe it's not so much that Brent Brennan's the problem. Maybe Jed Fish is actually just a good coach. That too. Fish has exceeded my expectations at Washington for this season already, even if he goes 5-7.
But I think Fritz and Houston are turning that corner. I did lock the over on them as well, and I believe that hits. I think it's at 4.5. So I think it will hit if they get this dub. Let's go, NC Nick.
Yeah,
Houston.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with your side. I mean, remember like a month or maybe about a month and a half ago, Arizona beat Utah. And we were like, wow, okay, Arizona, you guys are going to be pretty good this year like last year, right? Well, since then, they've dropped 5 in a row. They are completely lifeless. Houston is getting better. I think they've won 3 out of 4 now or so. I'm not going to lock it up just because I feel like I'm betting on all these road teams, and I can't continue to do that. So I like the Houston angle, but are you?
Don't be a pussy,
Nick.
Nick. I am going to bet it. I want to take it. Give me Houston.
Let's go. Let's
Are
go.
you betting UCLA?
I'm not.
No, he's
so I'm
not.
a pussy there. But look, they got annihilated at UCF in their last game, so things are going in the wrong direction. You're right about Houston. 3 of the last 4 against good competition. TCU on the road, Utah and Kansas State. Those are the teams you beat. Even that Rice win at the beginning of the year, looking decent. That they've been competitive against some pretty good teams. So yeah, I think Houston's got it going in the right direction. Wrong team favored. Lock it up.
I'm with you. Double lock me and Patty C on these Houston Cougars. Let me ask you guys this. That would put them at 5 wins. Is Fritz going to get them bowling? After that, they're home to Baylor and at BYU. Do you think Houston and Willie Fritz are bowling?
They're going to get
one.
They could get Baylor. They're not going to go on the road and get BYU. BYU is going to be locked in for the rest of the year.
I agree, Colby. I say they go 6-6. They go 2-1.
Yeah. All right, those are the Friday night games. Let's jump over to Saturday morning. We're going to start off with a banger at the McGurk. The Flamin' Libs are taking on UMass. Liberty's laying 14. That's too much. Give me these UMass Minutemen who are 2-7. They got Georgia on deck, another SEC opponent. Give me the 14 though. It's a little too much. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I could have told you Colby would be on the side of UMass, and he could probably tell you that I'm going to be on the side of Liberty. I think it's a potential lock play. Liberty finally got right last week. Finally won. Finally covered. I think who was on it? Was it me and you on them last week, Colby?
Yeah. I think Patty C joined too.
Did you? Was it triple lock last week?
I think it was.
And you're already going to throw them by the wayside. Not me. I'm going to stick with Liberty here. Patty, you want to talk me into a lock?
I don't want to talk you into a lock just because UMass is, done enough. They have been slapped around by some pretty good teams, but sometimes by some not so good teams. I don't know. I just feel like Liberty doesn't whoop anyone's ass. And, what's that? That's sitting at I lost track of it.
14.5.
14.5. Yeah.
Or 14. No. 14. I'm sorry. Flat
14. Even with flat 14, I'm going to take UMass at home.
Shout out to Ryan Hasty. Did we already talk about the Utah Utes AD? We did. So go check out that. Moving along, we have the rebirth of a classic rivalry. Texas heading to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on Road Rash Face, aka Bobby Petrino and Sam Pulled Pork Pittman. Texas, Arkansas doing battle here. 13.5 points is the spread. I'm going to lock up the Arkansas Razorbacks. Give me the 13.5. Sprinkle a little bit on that money line. I think this is where I also remind you that Arkansas has won 5 of the last 7 against Texas. 5 of the last 7, including including one in Fayetteville in 2021 with Sark when they won 40-21 when Texas was number 15 in the nation and Arkansas was unranked. Patty C, what are you doing here in Fayetteville?
I mean, Arkansas, well, I got to double check this. I'm pretty sure they have a really high ranked offense. Number 5 offense in total yardage in the country, which is higher than Texas, number 9. Granted, Texas has a phenomenal defense. So, I think 100% this is a letdown spot for Texas potentially, and I got Arkansas covering 13 points at home. Lock it up. Lock it up, Arkansas.
Double lock. Can it be a triple lock is the question. A lot of pressure on NC Nick, who's currently in Maryland, so we're calling him MD. Nick, what are you doing here, buddy?
You can call me doctor if you want. That's fine. That'll work. I disagree with you guys. I'm sorry, but every time I think Arkansas is in a good spot as a home dog to cover and potential do a money line play, they fall on their freaking face. Just like against Ole Miss when they lost by 32 points.
What about when they beat Tennessee?
Against LSU when they lost by 24. I'm on Texas.
Here's the thing about this is that this is not what's the word? I don't know the word. It's off the cuff a little bit, but Texas, generally speaking, I feel like they are they can get beat by a gimmick that is better that they can't handle, right? But Texas is a balanced team that if they can handle your gimmick, if your gimmick isn't that strong, then they will be able to beat. Now, I guess I stand a little bit corrected because Georgia's kind of the same thing. They don't have a strong gimmick. They're just a balanced team. And this year of all years, you would think Texas would be matching up favorably across the board from Georgia, and yet Georgia won that game. But I do feel like in general, like Oklahoma in previous years has always given Texas problems because they have a gimmick that Texas can't handle. And I feel like Arkansas,
Washington, last 2 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like Arkansas with Bobby Petrino over there and the number 5 offense, this could become a shootout. I do. Arkansas, the number 90 defense in the country. So Texas should figure it with the top 10 offense to get off on them. But I don't think Texas, even with the top 10 defense, is going to stop that Arkansas offense. So I expect a lot of points. What's the over-under on this one?
57.5.
Yeah, you probably want to hammer the over on that. But I will take Arkansas to cover at home. I think they get up for it. Wait, is Arkansas coming off a bye for this too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
2 weeks to prep. Let's go. Double lock for Patty C and NC. I'm sorry, and myself. Folks, before we get to the next one, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. What are you doing? You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency, get lightning fast payouts. I love these Carolina Pirates Thursday night. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so that we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, everything. You could build your own model, or you can copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build a model for you. They just introduced college basketball to Rhythm as well. They have college football. They got NFL, NBA, all that stuff. Check it all out. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right. We are back. And we got the Rocky Mountain Showdown. The Utah Utes are heading into Folsom Field to take on Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado controls their own destiny to get to the Big 12 championship. Currently 7-2. Buffs are laying 10. News came out today.
Not a fucking chance.
Brant, how do I pronounce his name? Kuthi, yeah, is out for the year at the tight end spot. That guy gets out for the year every damn year.
Him and Cam Rising should be roommates.
Colorado's laying 10. I will take the Utes in the 10.
It's only because I mean, what is it? Utah has dropped 5 in a row, so you should think, especially with Colorado winning 6 out of the last 7, that this obviously should lean Colorado. But dude, Utah is just playing teams of, I guess, similar quality, closer than 10 points most of the time. And this is like Colorado's probably asleep for this game, right? Do you think Deion's got them focused enough? The fact that it's at Folsom, though, Folsom might help.
It was 23-17 a year ago in Salt Lake City, but I think Colorado's going to win. I just think it's going to be something like 28-24 or something. Nick?
It's one of those weird 10 a.m. kicks. Does that matter? Is that better for one or the other? I don't know. But for me, my angle is that I think Utah's last hurrah was last week. And the fact that they came up short in the big rivalry game. I don't know if they have anything left in the tank. Here's a stat for all the haters out there. Colorado has the best conference ATS record in the country. 6-0 ATS in Big 12 games. How about that? Let's make it 7.
They also lead the Big 12 in sacks.
There you go. Buffs.
Yeah.
Buffs, baby.
Patty C, what are you doing here?
I just feel like Utah, how often do they get beat by what the spread is? 10, you said?
Yeah.
They've only lost by 10 once this year. And that was against Arizona of all teams. But against Arizona State, that's also a 2-loss team. They only lost by 8. TCU, they lost by 6. Houston, they lost on the road by 3. BYU, obviously, they could have beaten. They lost by 1. So it's like Utah, I mean, they play great defense still, and Whittingham's not going to let them let down, And I do think Colorado prone to, maybe I'm full of shit, but I feel like prone to late covers a little bit. So I don't know. I just feel like 10 points is too many, especially because I think Colorado is going to let down after what seemed like their final big hurdle going on the road to Texas Tech. I guess there's still Kansas there. Still Kansas, but they're only now looking like a hurdle. Before it looked like this, Texas Tech was the final hurdle on Colorado's.
It's kind of funny how Kansas has a couple opportunities to play big time spoiler here.
Everybody, they get BYU this week. They get Colorado next week, and then Iowa State after. All three are in the mix. You're just like, oh God. I was talking about this on the reaction show. I think Colorado's. That's the game that scares me most. I think Colorado wins this game. I just don't think they cover the 10. Give me, like I said, 28-24 Buffs win. Is Cam Rising playing? Is the chat? No, he's not. Shout out to William. In the chat
maybe it's a game time decision.
Yeah. Next, let's go to Wrigley Field, where there's been so many great college football games over the course of the history of the sport. Glad to see, as much as I love them Lakeside, I like to see them playing 1 or 2 games a year at Wrigley Field. Ohio State's coming in to take. They're going to have the crowd, though. Ohio State will have the crowd. They're going to lay 30, or they're laying 30 in Wrigley Field. There, the place Andre Dawson. Remember the great Andre Dawson? He's a mortician now.
I have no idea. Wait, is he Andre Dawson? Where he hit dingers there?
Do you remember Andre Dawson?
I don't.
Yeah. He kind of reminded me of Hightower, and Hightower was a florist, so I can kind of see the mortician thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to the great Bubba Smith. Give me Northwestern plus 30. Nick?
I never thought I would say these words, but could Ohio State be looking ahead to Indiana? I think Northwestern covers also. Remember a couple years ago they played like a 21-3 game in Evansville.
Yeah,
this has kind of those same vibes to it. I think Ohio State wins, but I think it's closer than expected.
Patty,
it's tough to say because Northwestern hasn't played any team in Ohio State's realm. I guess you could say Indiana.
They played Duke.
I mean, yeah, but Duke is one of the better teams, and they took them to overtime. And Duke's what's Duke's record right now?
7-3.
7-3. That's pretty good. Indiana, obviously 10-0. They lost by 17 there in Evanston. Give a little respect to Duke. I'm not hating on Duke. Ohio State hasn't destroyed anyone by that many. It's sitting there. Hold on, what was it? It was sitting there. I lost it. It's 30. Ohio State's going to win by 30 though against Northwestern. Ohio State's just kicking it into gear. I don't care what the previous stats say. Ohio State is kicking it into gear. They're going to win by 30 on the road.
Well, if they win by 30 on the road, it's a push.
Okay, well they'll win by more than 30. Okay. I'm tempted. I won't lock it though. I won't lock it. No.
Louisiana Tech. Did you catch that Jacksonville State La Tech game last week?
I didn't. I saw the highlight. Yeah, the Hail Mary, and then they missed the extra point. Now
it was college football 101.
I'm not buying Louisiana Tech yet, though. I mean, what's going on here? Did you watch the game? Because I didn't. I mean, did Jacksonville State just lay a clunker?
Yes, they did, and La Tech actually played better than them. La Tech actually deserved to win that game.
Wasn't Jacksonville State though up for a decent portion of that game? And then I need to see the the play-by-play or the scoring summary.
No, this is how it went. Jacksonville State went up 7-0. La Tech answered to make it 7-7. Jacksonville State did go up 21-7. They scored the next 2 touchdowns, but La Tech right before the half added 2 more. So it was 28-21 at the half. Jacksonville State had a 7-point lead. La Tech then scored the next 3 scores of the game, a touchdown, a safety, and another touchdown. And then Jacksonville State got a field goal and then the Hail Mary, and then won in an overtime. So I kind of thought La Tech played better in my opinion.
And the week before that, they played Sam Houston very tight in a close loss. But I still say I need to see it one more time from La Tech before I can believe. So I'm going to go Western Kentucky.
Yeah, Western Kentucky is laying 13.5. I will go with the tops too. No lock though. Patty C, what are you doing here?
Western Kentucky, I feel like as explosive as they've been offensively, only number 52 in terms of yards per game. Where do they likewise exactly number 52 in terms of points per game? So a decent offense, but not as great as they've been traditionally. That spread is 13.5. I'll take Louisiana Tech. I think they're playing well enough to maybe keep it within 2 touchdowns at home or on the road, rather, even on the road.
All right, disagree and say we lock up the tops, not Western Kentucky.
I considered it.
I considered it too, but I don't know. We got a huge
game. This is a big one. Yeah.
This is a huge game. Why is it a huge game, Dundee? Because, well, Clemson's never won at Pitt. Never.
Now, what's the record?
0-2, right?
So it's not just a little context.
I'm just saying it's going to be cold.
0-10.
Let's do a weather check on Pittsburgh for Saturday. Back-to-back away, by the way.
52. Yeah. See, the problem is, like, if you have a noon kick, it's going to be fine. Now, if you have like a night kick, then that's when like this time of the season get a little dicey.
So they're doing Clemson a solid there. Clemson's laying 10 at Pitt. Now, why is this so huge? Because Clemson controls their own destiny, I believe. I mean, I guess I can't say that all the way because the other outcomes of the ACC matter, right? So they need to win. But there's a shot that I think percentage wise, I think Clemson, this is their final ACC game. They win this. I think they have a good shot at clinching the ACC championship against potentially SMU or Miami.
And we should be noted that I think the ACC wants Clemson in that championship game.
Yes. Now, if Pitt wins,
now the conference would never tell their officials to make a call one way or the other, but just saying.
If Pitt wins, all it would take would be a Wake Forest upset or a Syracuse upset with Miami, and Pitt would then be playing in the ACC championship, providing that they went out against who? I think actually Pitt's got Louisville and Boston College left. So I guess Pitt could still Pitt, but it's still a gigantic game. I'm taking the 10 in Pitt. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I did go back and forth on this. On one hand, it's a second half of back-to-backs for Clemson, being at Vodtech last week. But I was on them. I locked them up last week. I think I disagree with both you guys. I think I hit on that. And Pitt's a little banged up. Holstein's questionable, but he has not looked good the last couple of weeks. Pitt hasn't looked good in general the last couple of weeks. I'm going to ride the better team. I'm going to go Clemson.
Patty C?
You got to disagree, Nick. I think Clemson faced a tough test, and they passed it with flying colors against Virginia Tech last week. But I think, I think Clemson is a good team. I just think Pitt, we mentioned this on the reaction show I said that there's no team in the conference that can match up physically with Clemson, which gives them a huge advantage, especially against the likes of UVA, who, just beat Pitt. But I think that, stylistically, Clemson relies on their physicality a little bit, and Pitt's well, I guess, accustomed to dealing with that. And so, especially Colby, you said, was it Pitt that Clemson's never won at Pitt, or was that?
Yeah, they've never won at Pitt, and it's also like Pitt bangs with them. I feel like Pitt always has the guys that like. To me, I mean, Pitt won at Clemson 1 year too. You remember that when Clemson won the Natty? Nathan Peterman and John Connor.
They missed the field goal.
Not John Connor. Who's the running back that had cancer?
James Conner.
John Connor was a fullback for Kentucky.
John Connor, isn't that
also
Terminator?
Lead resistance, yeah.
I'm on Pitt. No lock though. Pitt's been all over the place, so it's like huge
Clemson,
game though.
Very balanced offense, number 7 overall nationally, but not so spectacular at passing or running, 24th and 26th respectively. But between those two, that level of like goodness at both makes them overall a pretty great offense. So, but I think again, Pitt, the type of team that defensively can handle that. So 10 points is too many. I'm going to take Pitt on the money line. I think Clemson may have gotten up for Enter Sandman last week and blown their load a little bit. So I'm going to take
It is true. I do think. Should we lock this, Pat?
I'm locking it. I'm locking Pitt.
I think Pitt's offense has been figured out a little bit.
Well, Eli Holstein is out. Eli Holstein got hurt, and Yarnell looked like trash. So maybe
Holstein's looked like he hasn't looked much better than trash the last couple of weeks. Also, I mean,
I'm not going to lock it. I'm just
maybe I'll pull my lock. Maybe I'll pull my lock. Okay.
There you go, Patty C.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Next up, another awesome game with playoff implications. Tulane is heading to Annapolis, Maryland to take on the Navy midshipmen. Navy upset Tulane the last time they played 27-24 during the COVID season. Tulane's laying 6.5. This is a fun game.
This game to me is the game of the weekend. Easily. It is so much more important in terms of the grand scheme of college football than Georgia, Tennessee, even though obviously I think Georgia, Tennessee, at least for Georgia, is an elimination game for the playoff. And for Tennessee, since they don't have a very hard schedule, may ultimately be an elimination game because they'll be one of the worst 2-loss teams if they take the L. Still, the fact that Navy Tulane is probably for a spot in the AAC championship game, and it could result in Army versus Navy for a playoff spot, depending on how Army does against Notre Dame. Super compelling. Super compelling.
I'm going to take the midshipmen plus the 6.5. I think they're going to give them a game. NC Nick?
I'm going to go Navy. I think last time that I'm sorry, I'm going to go Tulane. What did I say?
You said Navy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You're in Maryland, so watch what you say.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to go Tulane. Last time Navy stepped up in weight classes, we saw Notre Dame smack them. And Tulane, just an all-around good team. They got a top 30 run defense, second best in the conference behind Army. That's the difference. I think Tulane goes on the road. That defense travels, and I think they win and cover.
Patty?
Yeah, it's interesting. Tulane really kind of let the group of 5 down by losing against Oklahoma and Kansas State because I think they're a better team.
They should have been. They got robbed against Kansas State.
Yeah.
They got absolutely robbed that game.
Yeah,
wasn't it like they call like a pick play, offensive pass interference?
Pick play, and the defender comes up and blasts the wide out, and they call it a pick play on a touchdown. Absolutely horseshit call, and the fact that wasn't reviewable. They need to make that reviewable if you're gonna fucking like change the game's outcome because of that nonsense.
All that said, Navy, the loss against Rice, getting destroyed against Notre Dame, both pretty recently, has made me question them a little bit. Very impressive against South Florida, but Tulane been super impressive all year long. Huge margins of victory for Tulane. So this one's sitting at 6, even on the road. Give me Tulane, and that's borderline lock. But just the fact that Navy has a special mojo this year is kind of special. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the first year of the playoff, but there's a lot of strange things happening right here, and I think Navy is part of that. So still though, Tulane, but I'm not going to lock it.
ULM's catching 23.5 at Auburn. ULM, it's cooled off. They're 5-4. If they could just find one win, unfortunately, their remaining schedules at Auburn, at Arkansas State, and then the Bayou Classic there against Louisiana. Maybe they can get one, but I don't think it's here. And I am actually going to lay the points with Auburn. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean it's nice that Auburn gets ULM in mid-November, and it's nice that they get a bye before, so they can prepare for that dreaded ULM team.
Showdown. Yeah,
I agree. Give me Auburn.
Patty,
I don't know. I mean, ULM, they have disappointed in the last 3 games: South Alabama, Marshall, and Texas State. Granted, those are 3 pretty good teams, but they got their asses waxed in all or 2 out of the 3 of those. I don't know, 23.5. I feel like Vegas has a pretty good beat on this. I actually want to say ULM. I think ULM gets up a little more for this game and covers the spread.
Coastal Carolina is heading to Huntington, West Virginia, where Marshall was laying 8.5 points.
This is a low-key big one.
I'm going to lock Marshall minus 8.5. I was at that Coastal game. That was a rivalry game. When you have an emotional win like that, they stormed the field. I saw Tim Beck, remember the wrong Tim Beck. I saw him, thanking everybody that came out. It was like they fucking won a fucking Oscar with all the people he was thanking.
Did you see him chug a beer?
Yeah,
that was before the game. That was pretty cool.
That is great. That is fantastic. But I think Marshall's going to put it on them there in Old Huntington, West Virginia. It's a good spot for them. Another thing is, let me do a weather check. I believe, the high of 58. I don't know. I just think Marshall's gonna roll them. But NC Nick, what are you doing here?
No, I completely agree. You're looking to fade Coastal off the big win, especially with the fact that they've been ass, or like the kids are saying, they've been cheeks on the road in conference play. They have they lost to by 32 to JMU. They lost by 14 at Troy, which was really the perplexing one. So this is definitely a spot where you jump on Marshall. I'll lock it up with you, Dundee.
Let's go. Double lock. Patty C, could it be 3?
As much as this pains me to say, I think I have to. Well, we need Georgia. JMU needs Georgia Southern to lose probably twice, because they beat Marshall in their only loss in the last 6 games. Other than that, 5-1, and the 1-point loss on the road to Georgia Southern is so devastating for JMU's season, because even in a 3-way tie, which could potentially happen, Georgia Southern has beaten both Marshall and James Madison. Georgia Southern definitely has the inside track there, but Marshall playing great football, and Coastal Carolina could be helpful for us. But yeah, you're right. Marshall's playing so much better ball lately. You got to go 8.5 at home. It's a lot of points though. 8.5. No. Because I'm a JMU fan, I'm going to go Coastal, but maybe take that with a grain of salt.
All right. Moving along. I don't have a line on this because it's Monday night. Murray State, the Racers, are taking on Kentucky in a in-state SEC battle for the ages. Any chance the Racers? No, they're terrible. Can we at least put a good FCS team on here?
Well, that's Mercer 9-1 playing Bama.
I know.
Wait, do we have a spread
Murray
on that
State's
game?
1-9. Not yet. It's Monday, so it'll be out in the coming days.
Okay.
Moving along, we got a battle of the Owls. Who's the best Owl? Florida Atlantic and Tommy Herman are heading up to the link, where the Temple Owls are laying 2.5. Vegas is telling you everything right here. Temple minus 2.5 is the play. I almost feel like we should bet this thing, NC Nick. What are you doing here?
I'm definitely on Temple. This is a place that nobody wants to go to, especially in November. Florida Atlantic's already folded up shop here for the year. I'm on Temple, but I'm probably not going to bet it.
And I believe FAU just fired their defensive coordinator too. So, Temple gets it done.
A little hot.
Patty C, what are you doing here in the battle of the Owls?
Just out of curiosity, I'm looking up here. Temple 125, Florida Atlantic 86 offensively. Temple on defense 107. Florida Atlantic, if I can type, I'll get it. 118. They're both fucking terrible teams. The spread is sitting there at 2.5 in Temple's favor. Yeah, no one wants to travel to Temple, not because it's a hostile environment, because it's a shitty ass environment. Still,
Exactly.
I am much more confident in Florida Atlantic than I am Temple. So give me.
Are you?
Give me the Owls. Give me the Southern Owls. Yeah.
Wow.
Confident in FAU. Wow. Okay.
Dude, I mean, look.
Guess you didn't see ECU was up 49-7 on them in the fourth.
FAU is 0-5 in the AAC.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Temple just strikes me as complete ass cheeks, whereas Florida Atlantic, they seem like a team that underperforms, and the Temple is the kind of game they get right on.
Yeah. All right. We've spent enough time on this game.
Yeah.
Florida International, the airport, backed by Pitbull, is heading to Jacksonville, Alabama to take on Jacksonville State and Rich Rod. Rich Rod, they had their scare. Jacksonville State's laying 14. This is a pivotal game. If Mike McIntyre is going to be around next year, he has to win this game because after this, he's got Kennesaw and Middle Tennessee, and I think they'll win those. You win this, you're bowling. Give me the 14 in FIU. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
It's a tough one. I'm going to take Jacksonville State to bounce back, but I do not plan on betting this. I could see a game where FIU covers. I don't think they're a live dog, but I could see a game where they cover.
Patty?
This is the irresistible force versus the immovable object to some extent. I guess you can't call Florida International's defense the immovable object, ranked at number 63, but they are polar opposites of each other. Florida International has a decent defense and a terrible offense. Jacksonville State has a very good offense, but absolutely ass cheeks defense. What gives here? I think it's too many points, even against my boy Rich Ride. So I'm going to go Florida International on the road.
Let's go. And I'll end with this one as far as on the audio side. Mercer, Alabama. Mercer is 9-1 in the FCS. Out of Macon, Georgia, heading to Tuscaloosa. Last time they played, Alabama won 48-14. No line on this because the FCS lines have not dropped yet. But any chance Mercer covers, Nick?
Money line
without
play.
A line. Yeah, line.
I'm joking.
But still, they can still cover.
Has Alabama punched their ticket at this point to the
No, they're one loss away. What are you talking? They still.
I mean,
they still
assuming they win out. Assuming they win out.
Oh yes, but at Oklahoma and home to Auburn. I mean, they lost at Vanderbilt. So I mean,
I think Vanderbilt is better than both Oklahoma and Auburn. But yes, neither one of those games would shock me if they become a loss. But still, Alabama's playing pretty good ball right now. I think Alabama's going to make it.
I think it's looking all right. Looking all right right here. NC Nick. Is Alabama going to make the playoffs?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, folks. Look, if you're on the audio side of this, make sure you check out the B side. If you're on YouTube, stay put right now. We're just gonna switch gears here. We are the College Football Experience. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN, YouTube.com/the College Experience. Get on over there, please. Hit that like and subscribe button, and please 5 stars on Spotify helps us out so much. Even if you don't have Spotify, if it takes 5 seconds out of your day, please hop on over there, do that. But check out the B side on the College Football Experience. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience, and here we go. It wouldn't be the Big Ten without a great game like this. Michigan State heading into Memorial Stadium in Champaign, Illinois, to take on the Illini. Illinois laying 2.5. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with the Illini. I'm going to lock this thing up too. Lay the 2.5. What are you doing here, NC Nick?
Well, we've seen some line movement. Yesterday, it was at 3.5. I mean, Sparty here. You know their last 5 games: Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, Michigan, and Indiana. I mean, talk about a brutal 5-game stretch there. After those 5 games, they had a bye. So I think they come out of the bye. I think they're better because of that grind. I think they win this game. I liked it more at 3.5, but I'll still take it at 2.5. Give me Sparty.
Wow. Doing some battle. You bet you're locking this?
No.
Patty, Michigan State is heading to Illinois. Illinois is laying 2.5. What are you doing here?
Michigan State's been playing better ball, but still the road spot, Illinois, I feel like 2.5 is coverable. Give me Was it Brett? Gotta know. Gotta be fresh out the. Yeah, Bielma. Give me Bielma. Give me Bielma to get cover 3 at home, 2.5 at home.
Sam Houston State's heading to Kennesaw. Do we get the coaching bump here? Because Sam Houston State's laying 14 against Kennesaw. I don't think the bump is going to happen in this one.
Yeah, I think it's a different scenario because I'm assuming the players don't want it.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we need to talk to somebody a little bit closer to the situation. I don't know, but at the same time, Sam Houston, their offense has been struggling lately.
Sam Houston's offense has been struggling for 2 years.
Well, when Hunter Watson was healthy to begin the year, they were doing some things. Then he got hurt, and then even when he came back, it still didn't look right. You
ready for this? 21-6 final. Sam Houston State gets the cover and the win. NC Nick, what are you doing?
I'll say Kennesaw covers.
Patty?
No, I'm on Sam Houston. I mean, these are two programs going completely opposite directions. I think Sam Houston at 7-2, being still very much alive for the Conference USA Championship game, they're hyped. They're playing their best ball. Kennesaw, I think you're right. I think the fact that this isn't like a player revolt kind of firing, they're not going to, rally behind the new coach. They're probably sad. So I think Sam Houston keeps it rolling and covers 14.
Hawaii is heading to Logan, Utah. Hawaii's laying 2.5. I will lay it. Hawaii's been feisty, man. They almost got UNLV last week, man. They almost got them. They got Fresno the week before. I'm laying the 2.5. I could be talking to a lock here. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I'm not locking this game, but I do agree with Hawaii. They need 2 wins to go bowling. They have this game, and then they have New Mexico on the island. I think they can get it done. And really, what does Utah State have to play for? Nothing. So I'll take Hawaii.
Patty?
Hawaii pretty impressive in their last game. What was the final on that one? 27-29 against UNLV in the Chin Complex. Sagerbaum's throwing the ball all over the field. I think you guys are right. Even on the road,
maybe it will be in the 40s. Is that a concern?
It is a little bit of and the fans kind of show up regardless. I feel like they're.
What's
Logan?
Hawaii's, yeah, that's true. And Logan, Hawaii at home. Yeah. Hawaii on the road got housed by Sam Houston, lost to San Diego State, got housed by Wazoo, which is understandable. They did beat Fresno, so maybe they're turning it around, but they haven't been a great road team all year. They have been pretty good at home, including that close loss against UNLV. So going on the road, maybe you want to fade them a little bit, but 2.5, I think they're much more than 2.5 point better than Utah State. So give me the Rainbow Warriors.
Shout out to the chat too. The chat might be correcting me that Hawaii might need 7 wins because the 2 FCSers. So I still think they can win though. But thanks, chat.
Yes. And let me see if I can. Folks, I need better music than this. But we have the Granola Bowl happening this weekend. Patty C deemed this in our preseason episodes. The Granola Bowl is happening. Please get yourself out, or if you're not available to go to the game, make sure you catch the Granola Bowl because the Syracuse Orangemen
wear a muumuu, put some peace signs on your face.
The Syracuse Orangemen, aka Woodstock, is heading to Berkeley, California, take on the California Golden Bears in the Granola Bowl, first ever outing, I believe, at least in the ACC. Cal's lay at 8.5. Give me the points. I don't like Cal got so. Wake should have covered last week, by the way. Wake should have covered. What a brutal touchdown late there. I'm on the Orangemen plus the 8.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I actually like Cal here. They finally got that ACC win, got the monkey off their back. You got a second half of a back-to-back for Syracuse. So they're going from Boston, then all the way out west. And also the stat here to back me up is that Cal is second best team in the nation in turnover margin, which definitely plays into their hand in this game. Syracuse is known to give the ball up. Honda McCord might throw a few picks. I like the Cal Bears at home, guys.
Patty C?
Too many points. Honda McCord getting his stats in. I think even though Cal also, I want to say number 2 in the nation in interceptions per game to your JMU Dukes. Hello. But they have a potent secondary, so that might be a little bit of a kryptonite for Hunter McCord. We all saw what he did against Pitt, 5 interceptions, but I don't expect that. I think Syracuse will cover. I did just look it up. It is a solid 3 hours 1 minute from Syracuse to Woodstock. So not that close, but basically my understanding is that 15 minutes outside of New York City is considered upstate New York. All of New York is upstate New York except New York City. Is that correct? Or am I mistaken on that?
Sure.
Do we have any New Yorkers that listen to this?
Isn't like part of Connecticut, New York City too?
Yeah. I feel like once you get out of Northern Virginia, like everything else, like is Southern Virginia.
It's Southern Virginia.
Even if it's
fair.
central.
Once you get to Manassas, everything's like the South. So yeah, true.
No locks there. We got a shitty game going on here. Penn State's at Purdue. Penn State's laying 28.5. Give me the points, Nick.
I'm gonna go Purdue also. I think Penn State kind of sleepwalk. They sleepwalk through this and they don't cover.
Patty, what are you doing in this one?
28.5. No, Purdue is so bad. They get bodied by teams that are, significantly better than them. I don't know that Penn State has super explosive play. Obviously I saw them annihilate Washington, but I didn't watch much of the game. Well, it was on Peacock, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No one watched part of the game.
Yeah. But they annihilated a much better opponent, and this spread is lower than that. That was what was the final on that? 34. Was it 34-0?
I don't even remember. 34-6, I think it was. Yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah, I'm going Penn State.
We got a big one at the Clit going on this weekend. South Florida heading to Charlotte. Biff Poggi is catching 3 points at home, and if he wins out, they're bowling. If he wins this game, NC Nick, at home against South Florida, they have Florida Atlantic and Boca Raton, and then UAB. They could go bowling if they get this game. Give me the 3 points at Biff Poggi. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. I think I like the home dog here.
Patty?
100%. You got to go Charlotte money line. South Florida has looked like complete ass lately. So give me Charlotte.
All right, folks. What to tell you? First off, thank you for listening to the College Football Experience. If you can hop over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, we'd appreciate it. It really helps our algorithm there. It takes 5 seconds out of your day. Even if you don't even have Spotify, just do that, please. Only you can prevent corporate gambling from taking over. So do your job. All right, we are back. Just talk Clit football. Now we have I know it doesn't mean that much this year, but this game is fantastic every fucking year. LSU and Florida. I was talking about this with Beanick and Mac the other day because we were arguing that, me and Mac were saying that Michigan, Ohio State's a great football rivalry, but they haven't had those moments like the kick six in the Auburn, or the 4th and 26.
Yeah.
Like it just hasn't had that defining moment that the Iron Bowl has delivered. And then I even said LSU Florida has got better endings than Ohio State, Michigan. LSU Florida has had hilarious games. You throw a cleat, and get a 15-yard penalty, and a coach ends up getting fired over it. And then, you had the fake field goal toss over your head by Les Miles. You also had the 4th and 1 pass in the corner of the end zone. It was just on the final play of the game. It's just so many bangers that this game has provided. LSU is laying 4.5 on the road in the swamp.
I'm seeing 4 flat.
DJ Lagway, I'm seeing 4.5. But either way, it was shop around. Lagway questionable, didn't play last week. Same with Elijah Badger. Give me the Gators. Give me the Gators plus 4.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Kind of tough to pick this one on Sunday, on Monday. I want to see how LSU responds to the Bama beatdown, how they respond to their 3rd loss of the season, and most likely not an SEC championship, not a playoff berth. If Lagway plays, I'll take the points. But if he doesn't, then I think I have to go LSU. I think it's that easy, guys, because I can't get behind that third-string quarterback.
Yeah. But here's one thing I will push back on Arbo. Coming into the year, we all thought Florida's schedule is the hardest in the history of college football. I'm going to say it is not after what has happened. Florida State is 1-9. UCF is ass, and Kentucky is ass. So we all thought those three teams. It was still a hard schedule. Don't get me wrong.
But we all thought buster schedule.
Of course, it's still a hard schedule, but I thought it was going to be a lot harder because I had UCF as a team that I thought was going to win the Big 12. Florida State, we all thought, would be a 9-10 win team. Yeah. And Kentucky, we thought would be flirting with a bowl.
I still don't think UCF is complete ass. I mean, they were close to beating Iowa State the other week. They can put up, when they're playing their best football, they're a decent football team. So that was a good win for Florida.
Of course, yeah. UCF has been very disappointing to me this year. I don't think they're a good. I would not define them as a good football team.
Nope.
Fair. But the schedule is still brutal, obviously. But NC Nick, what you said you're going?
It all depends on Lagway.
Yeah, that's very true. Actually, do not bet this game or touch this game. That's why I'm not locking it. Patty, see what are you doing here?
Was it Blake Baker?
Blake South Baker Florida as well.
What happened with South Florida? Did Florida play South Florida?
South Florida played Miami. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I don't like that Brian Kelly throws his defensive coordinator under the bus there. Motherfucker, you're the head coach.
He's a fucking sore-ass loser, man.
And he just hired the defensive coordinator from the zoo. So it's your hire. So ultimately, it comes down to you, buddy.
Grilling him on national television.
Why is he such an asshole, by the way? I just feel like Brian Kelly is the biggest asshole to play for. I would not. If it was my son, I'd be like, look, go play somewhere else. This dude's a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
even if you can win more with Brian Kelly, go enjoy life a little more with someone else. Like he seems like a true assohole.
Hugh Freeze or Brian Kelly? Who you sending your kid to?
I don't know. That's.
I think I go Brian Kelly. I'd send him to Brian Kelly.
At the same time, a lot of nice guys probably don't win a whole lot of football games. So I think a lot of coaches might not be the warmest personalities.
Sure, but Brian Kelly.
You ever see? Did you see Saban, where that longtime Bama fan that'd been in like 40 years of games tried to give him a hug on TV, and it was like the awkwardest thing ever. I'm saying,
fuck out of my face.
If you're a really nice guy, you're probably not a very good head football coach.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think you can be really, really personable and also be good. I think more often than not, I think being an asshole works out. Yeah,
I think like the Pete Carrolls are the exceptions. The Dick Vermeils are the exceptions.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I did see a video of Nick Saban at a football camp, and he's got like 10-year-olds like doing routes. And at one point in the football camp, one of the drills is to go like shake the coach's hand, and he's like all process oriented or whatever. And the kid comes over to shake his hand, and he's like, "Shake it right, shake my hand right." And the kid's like almost crying. It's like, God, dude, like
grab it like a man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Walk away.
He was only at that football camp. He was only at that football camp because he dropped a bag of cash off in the third story of the parking garage, right? I don't know. Oregon State.
You got bagmen in the SEC.
That's
Coaches
true.
Are dropping bags.
That's true.
Come on.
He did that at Toledo. But Oregon State is heading to Colorado Springs. Hey, how about my money line play of Air Force last week against Fresno State as they got it done?
Nice.
Oregon State's laying 4. I do think the Beavs get this one. I'm going to lay the 4 with them heading to Colorado Springs. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I disagree. They've lost 4 straight, and Air Force, like you said, they finally won a game. We would expect under Calhoun that this team, the very young team, is going to get better as the season progresses. I think they put together a little win streak here. I think another money line play.
Wow. Patty C, the people are saying, how come your picks are never on the website?
Oh, I get them up a little late. Sorry. They're up there. You got to look at 8:55 a.m. on Saturday.
Nothing like getting the worst of the number. Anyway,
right in time for nobody to be able to bet them.
Well, you get the afternoon slate. Look, What I'm saying, I made a very drunken point last week. I went back and listened to a little bit of the podcast. Air Force maybe particularly well to adjusted to deal with gimmicks schemes. They did decently enough against Army, and then managed to get the money line against Fresno. I don't think Oregon State is a gimmick team, however. So give me the Beavers to cover 4 on the road against Air Force.
Let's go. E. Arbo says the throwing trash on the field trend has to stop. That's not gonna stop because the refs let that Texas shit happen, and now it's got momentum behind it. This is what happens when you do some stupid shit. It is pretty hilarious to get hit by a bus. I love how people. It's not safe. It's not safe. It's like, you're wearing uniforms. We got fucking helmets on.
Helmets on.
Right?
Go watch 80s like Notre Dame highlights, and the fans are in the end zone like during the game, like the play is going on.
No, I liked it even better when there's like a there's like a van parked in the end zone, or like an Oldsmobile parked in the end zone, and your wideout just like going deep and just smashes into a fucking Oldsmobile. That was fantastic. Can we bring that back? Helmet cars need to come back too, but I do like the random car just parked there. Not an ambulance, just a random. Who is that, by the way? Is that the?
It's not in the end zone.
Yeah,
but it's 5 yards outside of the end zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just fucking great. That's why the society's gotten worse. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit A of society getting worse.
Yeah, agreed.
You can call the insurance company and say, fucking whiteout ran into my fucking car. Folks, what to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all the sports. There's NFL, college football, college basketball, CFL, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. Boost Uber is upon us, which means you're getting a spooky amount of profit boost. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries as well. So sign up. And when you do sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick list, first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back, and we have a big game going on in South Bend, Indiana. As the Wahoos, they can go bowling if they can just get an upset here. They're heading into South Bend. No Trell Harris. But hey, I mean, Notre Dame won 28-3 last time they played against Tony Elliott. Can they do it again? Virginia's catching 23 points. Give me the 23 points all day. Who the fuck is Notre Dame? People are saying Notre Dame is turned a corner. They're blowing out all these teams. They played nobody. They played Louisville and won by 7. That was a good win. The Georgia Tech win doesn't count as a good win. They didn't have Haynes Gay. All right. Not buying it. Okay. Navy, you blew them out. I'll give you credit for that one, but that's still not like an elite win to me. Give me the points. Nick, what are you doing here?
I'll preface this by saying that my record picking against Notre Dame is probably not very good because I've seemed to fade them every week and they've made a fool out of me lately. I'm going to go back to the well and take UVA. And I just think that some of these games down the stretch are going to be close for Notre Dame because I don't think they are that much better than a quality opponent. And I know it might be a little bit of a stretch to say UVA is a quality opponent, but I think they're solid.
Patty C.
This game, the spread seems almost right. 23 points. Notre Dame. It does because UVA has been a little bit dependent on the pass, 39th in pass offense, 86th in rush offense. You know, one of their targets, Chris Tyree, was a Notre Dame transfer. Notre Dame, meanwhile, the number 2 pass defense in the country, so they're pretty accustomed to or pretty well positioned to stop what UVA brings to the table. Probably going to intercept Anthony Calandria a few times and maybe use those on some short fields to pull away in the same way that Clemson did maybe later in the game. It's really close. I think UVA is playing good enough football that I'm going to take them to cover 23 on the road, but I don't feel great about that at all.
Louisville is heading to the farm to take on Stanford. It's a stupid game. Louisville's laying 20.5.
I found it even like kind of annoying to think about this.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Give me the points in Stanford. Nick?
I laid him.
Yeah, you're right. This game is particularly annoying. At least with like traditional ACC teams, you have the coast versus coast matchup. This like Louisville is significantly inland. It belongs in the SEC or the Big Ten if it was to go to a power conference, maybe even the Big 12, but it's certainly not a great fit for the ACC. So it's just two teams that shouldn't be playing each other this late in the season. That said, 20 points is, I think, too many for a long road trip for Louisville. So I'm going to go Stanford to cover.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a stupid game. Boston College, SMU doing battle. This is the JFK Bowl. We got the JFK Bowl going on.
It was in Dallas. That's right.
Yeah,
Boston,
that's what I'm saying. Boston College.
This is the real JFK Bowl. We tried to sell
real JFK Bowl.
A&M. A&M's down in College Station. This is fucking Boston and Dallas.
SMU is laying 17 points. Give me BC plus 17. Lock it up. Let's go. D. Bettis says, I love the way Colby picks and chooses who is good and who is not, contradicts teams week after week. Yeah. Do a talk show in college football. It's kind of how it works, buddy. Etsy Nick, what are you doing here in Dallas in the JFK Bowl?
Roasting the fans, just giving the fans shit.
Right. Especially a long-time listener like D.
I know. Give the man some respect, Colby.
What am I supposed to say to that? Like, yeah, we watch another week of football. We change our opinions sometimes.
College football is a fluid situation. I mean, sometimes from week to week, it is. Now, sometimes you hold on to a belief that you had in the offseason and you carry it with you, but you have to be flexible and you have to be able to change opinions. I mean, especially in today's college football. I'm gonna go SMU here. I think the line has spiked by almost a field goal. I'm guessing that's because Castellanos is not going to play. If so, the only thing Boston College can do is run the ball, and SMU is actually really good versus the run, top 10 in the nation. And at home, SMU has been putting up some crazy points. Last 3 home games, 66, 42, and 48 points against TCU, Florida State, and Pitt. I'm going to lay the number.
Wow. ACC specialist over there. Patty, see what are you doing here?
You don't have the soundboard with you, do you? Can we get the shots fired sound effect for this?
That is true.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's not Lee Harvey.
That sounded like only one gunman, though.
Yeah. I'm looking it up right now. Dealey Plaza is 9 minutes from Gerald Ford Stadium, so he might have even been shooting from Gerald Ford Stadium.
Can you see the game? Can you see the game from the grassy knoll? Is it their version of Tightwad Hill?
Grassy knoll. Oh man, it's too many points. I think Boston College can cover 16.5 against SMU. Give me BC.
Let's go. I'm seeing 17, by the way. Folks, what to tell you, the college football experience is brought to you by us. Yes, SGPN. Please, if you can, hop on over there. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify. We're trying to hammer this thing, so please, if you can, let's do that. D. Bettis, you and Maryland, Colby, I will send some Marines after you. The disrespect on Veterans Day. Disrespect to who? You? I took Navy. I fucking took Navy.
Get him,
here,
D. Bettis. Get him, D. Bettis.
You know I love you, buddy. But at the same time, what am I supposed to say to that? That's a loaded question from the start. I feel like Bob Knight. I feel like Bob Knight on one of those interviews. It's a loaded question from the start.
I salute you, D. Bettis. Your services are very much appreciated.
Yeah, we love you, D. Bettis. All right. Look, it's just I don't understand. What am I supposed to answer to that? I'm just supposed to say, yeah.
Yeah. Colby.
Why does Patty sees glass? Go ahead, Patty.
I was going to say you're never allowed to change your opinion, Colby. You pick your teams at the beginning of the season and you stick with them.
Well, I mean, Wyoming. Well, I chose Wyoming in the beginning of the year, and I after like the 4th loss, I was like, I'm never picking those bastards ever again.
I was gonna say, why does Patty's glass always look full? Is it that that he's taken very little sips, or how many times have you filled it up?
I'm a glass full kind of guy. Look,
every time it comes into the it looks full.
This is what we're doing so far. We're on number 5 here. Okay, that's why, Nick. That's why, Nick. Okay.
You look like the guy in Dumb and Dumber who's carrying all of those as they're in that van. They're getting pulled over. He's just holding like 7 beers of piss.
You'd shut your mouth if you knew it was good for you.
Oh man,
no, it's a pullover.
Yeah, I do like. What's the better game, by the way, the Granola Bowl or the JFK Bowl? What's the one you're more excited to watch, NC Nick?
JFK Bowl.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious.
Better name too. I thought the Granola Bowl was a bit of a stretch, to be honest with you.
Well, what about the Royal Rivalry? Because JMU is heading into Norfolk in the Royal Rivalry at Old Dominion. JMU's laid 4. I got Old Dominion winning this outright. Old Dominion, Ricky Rowney, low key, great coach. Gonna get them to another bowl game where they go 6-6, which I should nominate for like best coach of the year. Like he loses his top players every year, and then they go 6-6. He gets them. NC Nick?
I love the Old Dominion spot here. You got JMU 0-2 on the road in the Sun Belt. They have not been very good away from what's their stadium called again? I forget. The Bridgeforth Connect Stadium.
Yeah.
On top of that, you got it was a 3-point game last year at JMU. You got Old Dominion coming off a loss, coming off a bye. Everything I like about this game screams the Monarchs for ODU. I'll lock it up. Colby, you locking it?
Yes, let's go. I'm sorry. I'm just Patty C. Can you hand me that wrench? We're locking up. Patty C being compared to his a maintenance guy, and he says he's not trying to be mean. You can't.
I'll take it as a compliment. That's a good American. Maintenance men are, solid Americans. Fuck yeah.
Oh man, D. Bettis, Army Navy.
Hey, how's your circular saw game?
I'm more of a fan of the
strong around circular saw,
jigsaw. What are some of the other saws that are out there?
Bandsaw, table saw,
sawzall.
Yeah,
well, I did some work. I hammered some nails. No, what the fuck are we talking about? Royal
we got
Rivalry.
a battle?
Worst?
No, you got hammered.
Hello.
Sorry.
Hell yeah, I am getting hammered as we speak. Royal Rivalry, terrible name. I think the Old Dominion as a name for Virginia. It's a Dominion suggests kingdom. Virginia being the cradle of presidents, I want to say like 8 presidents from Virginia. It is the opposite of monarchy, and so is James Madison. We shouldn't be royal at all. We should be a fucking patriotic, democratic kind of name. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is.
All those presidents were like in the 1700s, also.
Yeah, it's pretty old. Look, 4-point favorites on the road against ODU. ODU really, really good. It scares me. I hate to say it, the money line's in play depending on which JMU team shows up, but I think we cover 4. I think we're good enough to do that if we show up at our best. So I'm going to take JMU, but I don't feel amazing about it.
Baylor is heading to West Virginia. This is the one that this is like the one that everyone picked out as like the game that's like what.
Well,
are West Virginia fans supposed to be excited about Baylor coming to town? They're like, "Where's Baylor?"
I had a really hard time. I had a really hard time picking this game too. It's like,
why?
It's like,
the stink?
No, just both teams. Like, it makes no sense. This is like the Stanford Louisville game in a way.
I mean, both teams are 5-4. The line's 2.5, probably where it should be. I mean, I just fell on. I'll take WVU at home. That's so really the only way I broke it down. I think Garrett Green might be back. I don't even know if it matters. Patty C, you seem more confident. What's your side?
Well, I just think Baylor has been suspect. I didn't quite realize they were 5-4. But what have they done lately? They winners of 3 in a row: Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and TCU, or Oklahoma State and TCU. So maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I just figured. But they do come off a bye here too, so maybe Baylor is very much in play here. I think
Baylor's better. I'm taking the Bears.
I don't agree. I think West Virginia at home has a huge advantage. 8-4 is the all-time series. Let me see what the series has been in Morgantown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. West Virginia is 6-0 in Morgantown against Baylor. So
I like that angle. There we go.
Give me West Virginia. And lock it up. Lock up the Mountain.
Wow. Patty C saying
Morgantown, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
Don't spill that beer. Careful.
Doesn't matter. I just fucking.
I like trick or treat. Kobe's face looks like a smushed NC Nick's face. What the fuck?
All right.
I love this. Chat's killing it tonight.
We're just getting roasted across the board.
I love it. They haven't brought up my gap tooth yet. I'm sure that's coming. I mean, that game was a fun game to pick just because it's hilarious. Nebraska is catching 9.5 with Dana Holgerson calling the plays in the Coliseum against USC. I will. I'm going to lay the 9, and I don't think Nebraska's any good, and so I will lay the 9.5 with USC. Well, then we have what's his name starting at the quarterback spot too. Miller Moss was benched. Yeah, for Mavia, the UNLV kid. Give me USC. Patty C, what are you doing here?
What did Mavia got the start last week, right? Or was he?
They were on bye
week.
Yeah.
He came in for.
So this is.
Go ahead. Yeah, this is his first start
for Moss during the Washington game. He did.
He came in.
Yeah. How did he do in that? I'm curious. Because I think just stepping in, even off of a bye week in your first start, even on your own team's homecoming, that's a pretty hostile environment to step into. The USC's lost 5 of their last 7. They haven't been playing very well.
Actually, you know what? I was mistaken. He did not come in for Moss. Moss completed the game, but he threw 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get a lot worse than Moss has been playing. But 9.5 seems like too many for a Nebraska team that just hung with Ohio State. So give me the Cornhuskers. I could be wrong. You know, the road trip is a factor here, but give me Nebraska.
NC Nick?
I mentioned Raiola's questionable too. I feel like we have a lot of like quarterback situations we don't have much clarity on. I know USC is 4-0 ATS at home this year. I'm going to ride that trend and not trust the Huskers traveling all the way to the West Coast. Give me USC.
Troy is heading into Statesboro, Georgia, take on Georgia Southern. I think I'm wrong about Clay Helton for this year.
This is a huge game.
Troy's horrible. To be honest, the Sun Belt sucks this year. So I actually think he's in a position to reap the benefits of every team being shit. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with Georgia Southern. NC Nick?
I agree, but it's a big because Georgia State and Marshall are tied atop the Sun Belt East. I think
I'm going to lock this.
Are you?
And Southern, by the way, remember Marshall they were whooping their ass. Southern scored 24 in the 4th to beat Marshall, so they have the tiebreaker. But I'm going to lock up Georgia Southern minus the points.
I'm going to take Georgia Southern. No lock.
Patty?
Where is the game? It's being played
Statesboro,
at Georgia.
Statesboro.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? I'll join you. I'll join you in the lock. Let's go, Georgia Southern.
Let's go.
I hate it because I need Georgia Southern to lose one of these, but it doesn't look like. You know, I'm going to throw this out there while it's still a very small possibility. There's a chance that JMU East plays JMU West in the and it doesn't take that many dominoes falling in a particular direction. Let's say Navy beats Tulane at home this week, right? And then Navy loses, let's say, to ECU, right, prior to the Army game, which they're on the road against ECU. That would put Tulane in the conference championship game against Army. Tulane beats Army. Tulane has 3 losses. They're out of the college football playoff. And then all else we need is UNLV to lose to San Jose State and then beat Boise in the conference championship.
They're not going to play Boise. Colorado State's going to play in that game.
Against
Wyoming upsets them.
Boise? Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, someone just has to upset Boise, which is a big task. But if it could happen, then I feel like whoever wins the Sun Belt is probably the next team up. And a couple big things going our way. We get the 12 seed.
Is this the first hypothetical tuck job?
This is a hypothetical tuck job. This is me planning my tuck job. I'm getting ready for surgery. I'm pre-op. This is pre-op Pat here.
We got one of the bigger games of the weekend. Eli Drinkwitz is heading into Williams-Brice Stadium. Take on South Carolina. South Carolina's laying 11.5. Missouri is somehow ranked. South Carolina's not. I understand there's differences, but South Carolina is way better than Missouri, and Vegas is telling you this as being an 11.5 point favorite. I'm laying it with South Carolina. I think Missouri's fucking horrible.
That's a lot of points, man.
I'm sorry. It's too many points to lay with South Carolina. South Carolina is a team you take as a dog or maybe as a slight favorite like they were last week. I can't lay double digits with South Carolina. I'll go Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri's won this game for the last 5 years in a row.
They have had their number historically. So that you do have in their favor.
It's just too many points. I think South Carolina probably does get them because I agree at home. I think they're the better team, but it's going to be really close. Maybe like, I don't know, 6, 7, 5 points at best. Give me Missouri to cover this.
Nope, going Gamecocks. Let's go. Next up, we head to Atlanta, Arkansas State. Take it on Del McGee and Georgia State. Del McGee and Georgia State laying 2.5. They came back from a month on the road. I'm not being sarcastic. A month on the road, and Vegas saying they're better than Arkansas State. This is hilarious. The spread's hilarious. I'm trusting Vegas. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with Georgia State against Arkansas State as Butch Jones needs this one to go bowling because the final games are ULM and ODU. They could lose all of them. What are you doing here, NC Nick?
I agree. I think Georgia State, the little home cooking. I think the ATLians finally get their first Sun Belt win.
Love that mascot. We were talking about the alien mascot and the flying saucers coming to. Someone should be the aliens or the flying saucers.
ATLians.
Yes, and NC Nick solved it for us overnight. With the Outcast
I was listening
reference.
to the podcast on the plane. I was trying to scream through the on the plane how about Georgia State? It's perfect.
That is perfect. It really is, because who cares about another Panther's name?
Oh, yeah. And right now Georgia State has the worst uniforms. I mean, they need they just need a facelift, a makeover. They just need a whole image. Everything needs to change with Georgia State right now,
dude. And I want to say this: the Campbell Camels, right, did an amazing job of taking what was right in front of them and not fucking it up. Campbell's, Atlanta ATLians. Or
it's fire.
If it's Atlanta
you
aliens,
you put a picture of an alien on your helmet or a UFO. It's fire.
Dude,
Area 51 shit on your helmet. That'd be fire.
On one side, ATL. On one side, Area 51 or something
just a flying saucer. It's easy. Give me Georgia.
Fantastic.
Give me Georgia State too. You get fucked up by JMU. It happens. Everyone's down on you. Look, you know what I saw? JMU, by the way, 58-4 at Bridgeforth Connect Stadium over the past 5-6 years. So.
I saw they're announcing that they're adding on to it.
Are they?
Yeah, I just saw that. Tweeted.
Reminder, Patty C. I was there last year for one of those L's, one of those 4 L's.
You son of a bitch.
And
only one of those has been by three or more points. It takes a lucky fucking team to beat us when we're on the road. When we're at home. Let me say
that. We got a classic Nor'easter here for you, Nick. Rutgers is heading to Maryland. Maryland's laying 5.5 at College Park. Give me the Scarlet Knights plus 5.5. Don't love it, but this Maryland may win 31-28, but give me the 5.5. Rutgers is still, 1 win away from bowling. Let's go. Give me the 5.5. Nick, what are you doing here?
I agree. I think we were both on Rutgers last week. Shiano, did wonders during the bye, snapped that losing streak. I think they're refreshed now. They're regrouped, and I think they're going to win this. Give me Rutgers. I could be talked into a lockout. Well, I don't know.
I'm not locking this.
No. Okay. Never mind.
Patty C.
I'm gonna, we're still in election season. I'm gonna refrain. I don't know what the official terminology. I'm not gonna bet this game. Fuck this game. Both these teams are so unpredictable that it's a non-vote for me. So there you go. Let me flip a coin. Whoever comes up, actually Maryland at home. If I had,
I think that's worse than a lean. I think a no pick is worse than a lean, Patty C.
Well, I don't care. I hate fucking trying to figure either of these teams out, let alone against each other.
I thought this was an NC Nick take. I thought you liked this game.
Maybe I like watching it, but trying to bet it's impossible.
An NC Nick take. What do you mean?
Like NC Nick hates Northeastern football.
I don't consider Maryland the Northeast. They're the Mid-Atlantic.
Fair. It's very factual. I'm going to go Rutgers to cover 5.5, even on the road, just because they've been playing pretty well lately.
Southern Miss is heading to San Marcos, catching 27.5. Give me the points, Nick.
I'll take Texas State. The offense got cranking last week. Southern Miss is dead. Give me the Bobcats.
Patty C.
I'm with you, Nick. Lamb. Texas State rolling. Southern Miss dead in the water.
All right, we're getting to some meaningful games here. This is a big one because second place, if Colorado does sputter or Iowa State sputters, Arizona State and Kansas State are in position to get to the Big 12 championship. Arizona State heads into the Little Apple. Cam Scadaboo is questionable to take on K-State. K-State's laying 9. We'll lock up Arizona State +9 in the Little Apple. I don't think that K-State team is that good this year. And I will say it is a little scary at the environment there, but I think Arizona State's pretty damn good. I think they can pose some problems themselves to K-State. Give me the 9. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I think you're a little wild to lock this. I agree. I ended up going Arizona State just because I do think there's not that much difference between them and Kansas State, but the Little Apple can be dangerous at times. I remember their great ATS record last year. I'll go Arizona State, no bet.
Patty C.
I got to completely agree with you guys. Kansas State, kind of some suspect wins. Squeaked by Kansas the other week, did take a loss at Houston. So recently they haven't been as impressive. Arizona State's losses are a little bit understandable. Road trip to Texas Tech, are essentially an early morning game for them against Cincinnati on the road. Other than that, they played great. Now, this is a primetime kick at Kansas State, which says that, I think Kansas State, on that note, should be favored by a little bit more than you would expect, but 9 points, way too many. Give me Arizona State.
There we go. Another game with some meaning. Boise State heading to Spartan Stadium in San Jose, California. Boise State laying 13.5 against Ken Niumatalolo and Sparty. I was all over Nevada last week with the points. I actually think Boise gets it done here. I'm going to lay the 13.5 with the Broncos. Nick?
Maybe a little pressure's coming on Boise here. Maybe they're tightening up a little bit. Give me San Jose to cover.
Patty C. It's a big game actually, because San Jose is still not eliminated from the Mountain West Championship.
It's true. Let me see one thing before I make my thing here. San Jose, obviously, Boise is a run-based team. Ashton Genty with 1,700 plus rushing yards. San Jose State, the number 95 rush defense. Expect at the very least Genty to keep his stats going. However, 13 points on the road is too many. Give me San Jose State to cover.
South Alabama is heading to Cajun Field, the real swamp, to take on the Raging Cajuns. Louisiana lay at 8.5. This Fluff Bothwell coming into Gio Lopez is questionable. You can't take South Alabama if they don't have Gio Lopez. Louisiana is a machine. I'm sorry, Mike Devereaux. I loved you with the Baltimore Orioles, but I owe you an apology because your team
Let me hear
incredible.
One of you two get his name right now without looking it up. What is his actual name?
Michael Desamoreau.
Huh?
I said
I don't think you got.
Mo.
I think Nick got it. I think it's Desamoreau.
I don't know. Look, just
It's
keep
French.
running, right?
Yeah.
I'm laying it against, even though Fluff ball, though. I need to know Lopez is playing to even think about taking the 8.5. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm stuck in that same predicament here. I want to take South Bama because I want to see how Louisiana does with success, being the hunted, because look, they haven't been that, under Desormeaux. None of these players have experience, being towards the top of the league. So I want to take South Bama, but without the quarterback situation, with that being kind of muddy, I'll go Raging Cajuns for now. If we hear some news with Lopez, I might Benedict this.
Patty C?
I disagree that Desormeaux hasn't experienced being the hunted because he stepped into the job as the hunted. Now, it was a struggle for a couple years for him, but now he is finally late in the season as the hunted. I mean, they're more or less a lock for the Sun Belt Championship game at this point, right? Although I do feel like South Alabama with Fluff at Bothwell has the potential to win. The spread is 8.5.
They're up 2 games. They're up 2 games in the Sun Belt West.
Yeah, they're going to the conference championship game at this point. Although I will say, and South Alabama does very much have the potential to catch them, but the trends lately favor Louisiana. So I'm going to go Louisiana. I don't feel great about it.
All right. Next up, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by BetUS. Yes, bet with the best in the business. That is BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, totals, spreads, props, all that good stuff. You can copy one of the top models from the leaderboard, or you can build your own like Pick Dundee here and have Rhythm build around that. They just got the college basketball props there. They got college football as well, NFL, NBA, all that good stuff. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we got to power through this. I got 23 minutes before the SGP show goes.
Let's bring it home.
Let's go.
Let's go with a banger here. Tennessee is heading to Athens, Georgia. Georgia's laying 9.5 points. I'm locking the dogs minus 9.5. Actually, I see it at 10 now. Move to 10.
Lock battle. Battle. You got to be crazy. Did you just watch the game that just happened? That wasn't an ass whooping. Georgia's offense is trash. And Tennessee and Texas.
Wait. Tennessee's offense is trash.
Is Nico playing? Is Nico Ocho or Nico No Show playing?
Does it matter that much?
Yes.
Yeah.
It probably does. But still, Georgia 10-point favorites. Like I said, we have I don't know if anything, Tennessee statistically has been better than Ole Miss, overall. They're top 10. Them and Texas are the only 2 teams that are top 10 in offense and defense nationally. Ironically, Georgia beat Texas. But Tennessee is a fantastic team on both sides of the ball. And I compared them to Ole Miss, and they fucking just got housed by Ole Miss. I've been comparing them to Ole Miss. Yeah.
How about this? How about this for you, buddy? It's been since 2016 since they got Georgia. And Georgia, this is an elimination game. They're going to fuck up. I don't think Tennessee is going to score more than 7 points. All right. Tennessee's offense is the offense that is phonier, in my opinion. Georgia gets it done at home. Look, 38-10 last year. It was 27-13 the year before, but it was 27-0. 41-17, 44-21, 43-14, 38-12, 41-0, all under Kirby Smart. Get the fuck out of here.
I think we do have to come to the conclusion that this Georgia's team is nowhere near as good as previous 3 to 4 years. But with that said, I
both can't be right there.
Well, with that said, I still think they're better than Tennessee, and I like the idea of picking Georgia after the loss at home. I'll ride dogs with you, Colby. We locking it?
Yes.
I'm with
all
you.
Day. Double lock.
Guess what? Play that other music because Tennessee is going to stick a knife in the heart of Georgia and end their playoff chances this week. Tennessee ends it for Georgia.
All right.
We got a battle between the hedges. Dundee, Nick with the domes. Patty C taking the Volunteers there. All right. Moving forward. Next up, another fucking heater. Oregon is heading to Madison, Wisconsin to take on Jack Daniels Del Rio and the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin's getting 14.5. Give me the 14.5 in Wisconsin. I got a future on Oregon to win the Natty, but coming crazy. I don't think they've looked. I thought they looked better last year than this year. Let's see, Nick. What are you doing here in Madison?
I'm not betting Wisconsin. I'll take him with you, but I've lost enough money picking against Oregon this year, and it's not like Wisconsin is a good football team. Maybe if they're a good team at home, okay. Like they have a chance to cover.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm not going to bet it.
Patty C.
I mean, Oregon is nothing if not consistent. They're the same team every week of the season. Sometimes they're a little worse defensively against the likes of Ohio State, but you know what? It's almost like they're Michigan. They're a different style than Michigan, but they do exactly what they do every week of the season, which makes me think maybe Oregon finally is a national championship contender because their identity is so fucking clear. I think they go on the road to Wisconsin. I do think Wisconsin's probably pretty well suited to stop what Oregon does, or at least match up with it, just because they're probably as physical, and the dairy raid makes them, capable of defending the or matching up on the perimeter a little bit. So I guess I'll roll with you guys. I guess I'll go Wisconsin here, but I don't feel great about it.
We got a classic SEC matchup going on. New Mexico State is heading to Texas A&M. New Mexico State joined the SEC about 10 years ago. If you didn't realize, New Mexico State's catching 39.5 points. I'll lay it with A&M. Nick,
I think I took the points. Yeah,
Patty,
a little too much.
I'm with Nick. A little too much. I feel like
35-3.
Yeah, probably something like that.
The modern game does not impress me. UAB is catching 14 points at the Liberty Bowl against Memphis. I'm going to lay it with Memphis. Nick?
I think I agree. I mean, Memphis plays with their food a little too much. You could look at the last few wins. They've all been like one score, but I'm not. Yeah, UAB is still trash here. They folded in the second half against UConn. Give me Memphis.
Patty?
No, I'm seeing it the exact opposite way. And I feel like in a little bit of a regional matchup, this has to mean a lot more to UAB. But UAB is an
old school rivalry game, but yeah.
I think it's way too many points. Give me UAB. I think Trent Dilfer's galvanized and revitalized UAB, the Dragons.
Well, speaking of great coaching, Patty C, Scott Satterfield and Cincinnati are coming into Ames. Iowa State's laying 9. I'm going to lay the 9 with Iowa State.
You're an idiot. You're dumb. You're dumb as shit. So, there's that. There's that to consider.
You're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid.
I agree with Colby. Both teams lost 2 in a row. The difference is that Iowa State's still a good football team, I think. And I think when they come back home, this is a perfect get right.
They're still alive to make the playoffs.
I'll lock up the Cyclones.
Wow.
Let's do it.
Let's lock battle.
I'll join you. Let's go. Let's do battle.
What has Iowa State done recently that makes you think they're going to beat a decent Cincinnati team by double digits?
Not by 10.
Double digits.
We got a battle. Dundee. NC Nick saying Cyclones. Patty C taking his Bearcats. Wake Forest is heading to Chapel Hill. This game won me a bunch of money 5 years ago or 4 years ago. Wake Forest catching 11.5. NC Nick, you can talk me into a lock here on Dave Clawson and Wake Forest plus 11.5.
The lock train's gonna keep on rolling.
Let's go.
UNC.
It's too many points.
Yeah, it is. I mean, UNC is 0-5 ATS at home. The crowd is going to be about half full. Nobody cares anymore. It's basketball season. The Mac Brown's out the door. I think Wake covers this. And I think maybe you and the bet detective need to think about a possible money line play on those Demon Deeks.
Check out the Bottom Line Bombs. I mean the Bombs Down Under episode we do with the great CJ Sullivan. Patty C, you taking the Deeks?
I disagree completely with you guys. Look, this is the exact game. That,
you're a fucking idiot.
You're an idiot, dude. Bro, you're an idiot. Look, Wake Forest against a team. Wake Forest is exactly the team that doesn't have anything special going on. And that's the exact team that North Carolina is designed to take advantage of. They throttle teams that don't have anything special going on, because North Carolina does have one or two special things that they can milk to the nth degree, and they will do that against Wake Forest. So North Carolina blows Wake Forest out.
Wow. Washington State and John Mateer heading into University Stadium there, Albuquerque, New Mexico, take on Bronco Mendenhall and the Lobos. Washington State's laying 13. I'll lay it. I feel like it's a trap for me to lock that thing up, but I cashed on laying the 20.5 against Utah State. Yeah, you know what? I will lock it up. I'll lay the 13 with Washington State. NC Nick?
No bet, but Wazoo here too.
Patty?
I'm with you. I want to check Mateer's stats. Is he still in all over the leaderboards? Number at least he's all over. I just looked up Mateer. He's like 9 times in the national top 20 leaderboards. Great football player. Wazoo covers.
The Kansas Jayhawks are heading into Lavelle Edwards Stadium to take on BYU. BYU is laying 3, and Kansas is winning this game. I hate to say this is the one that it's the letdown spot. After that, you got the AD pissed off at Utah. You're
even
not
at
paying
home?
attention. Yeah, you're just not paying attention. Give me Kansas to win this thing outright. NC Nick, what are you doing here?
I completely agree. After the bye week, Kansas has been an entirely different team. 2-1 after the bye with the only loss, that 2-point loss at Kansas State. Jayhawks all the way. Lock it up.
Patty C.
You know, I hate to say it because I want to say BYU has a special level of being locked in this year and weathering every storm that comes their way. But Kansas seems like a different beast, and that there has to be a letdown after that BYU game. The level of soaking that just happened in Provo this past weekend, no one can be completely dialed in for this week. So I'm with you. I think Kansas, and I think you money line it with Kansas.
I'm with you, and that is so that's a triple lock plus 125 on the money line for those Jayhawks, folks.
Give us that music.
I'm getting it. I'm finding it here.
Dial it in. There haven't been many.
Here we go. Triple lock on the Jayhawks.
Speaking of spinal,
right.
We got Tyson versus Jake Paul on Friday on Netflix. A, will you be watching? And B,
No.
who you got?
No, I will
and
not
don't
be
give a
watching.
fuck. Yeah.
Yes.
And will it 100% be fixed? Yes.
I'd rather watch Manute Bol against Fridge Perry again. San Diego State is catching 20.5 at that filthy, horrible Allegiant Stadium. I'll lay the 20.5 with UNLV. NC Nick, what are you doing?
Yeah. Let me go with a better team, UNLV.
Patty?
No. UNLV's just struggled with inferior competition. San Jose State, not that long of a trip. I think San Jose State covers 20.5. Please give me the Aztecs.
All right, and that is our slate right there.
Boom.
Let's go. Folks, give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Please follow away. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Follow. YouTube.com/The College Experience. We're back all week with college football episodes and the return of the FCS show. So check out all of that stuff. SGP, Sports Gambling Podcast, college football show coming right up next. Check it out. This is, and don't forget the college basketball show even after that. This is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot.